most
women would say no because most women don't do that.
No, I'm
most women would say no.
So you don't think that most women do that, right?
You've never happened to. The funniest thing is the men that ask these questions. When you ask them, has it ever happened to them? They would say no. Like it never.
Absolutely happened to me. Absolutely, all men will say that.
But here's what I'm telling you. It's never happened to me before, though. And I'm like,
so woman never lied to you.
But if you ask a woman, if you just ask the average woman, like, has a man ever done any of this stuff to you? Every woman you come in contact with gonna be like, yes.
A woman never lied to you.
Yeah. If there's only 1, 2, 3. There's 5 men up here. I'm 1/5 of the men up here.
A woman never lied to you. You never was lied by a woman.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on, y'all.
I was with another woman.
Hold on, public defender. Hold on. The thing that you're doing that we can't do is that you're saying what women are saying is credibility. But if a man says the opposite, then what is making them say he's wrong? Like you're not. Hold on, real quick.
The data.
Hold on, real quick. But you're not.
You're asking me the question.
But can I land real quick?
Can I when they say the women do it?
I'm asking you.
I'm
asking you to. You're not, my brother. There's no sources you have provided. They're saying that 80%.
I'm not, sir. Again. You're not.
Do you see how you? Now you're asking.
I'm not about to do a TED talk for you.
No, I'm not doing the check. No. I'm not doing
it. You can take what I'm saying at face value right now, and then do the research later. Or you can argue it and try to Google stuff in real time.
Public defender, you're not being. Hold on, Dame. Hold on, you can't do this. What? Hold on, public offender. When you look at women relationships, when you see the DV, we'll go to men first, men and women. Men and women initiate DV on each other almost the same amount.
No, they don't. That's a lie.
Brother, can I finish?
I'll look it up.
No, can I finish, brother? Now you said,
how
can you?
I look it up all the time. Go ahead.
Brother, do you feel like you've become a disingenuous? Because if you said you can look it up, that means you can provide the information. Now you're saying you can provide information that I'm lying about. But let me finish. When you look at the men who don't hit back, women initiate 70% of the DV when the man doesn't hit back. When you look at lesbian relationships, it's even worse. They have a higher divorce rate. They're more abusive to each other. Most of the time. They are, my brother. That you can look it up.
I know that study. I can tell you right now, you're wrong about it. I've read it so many times. I know it like the back of my hand. The rate of violence and abuse that lesbian women suffer. If you actually have read it, if you didn't just hear somebody else tell you, if you read it like I have, where it comes from is lesbian women women, no matter what, they're in relationships and they have contact with men. They have fathers, they have uncles, they have brothers. Some of them have had boyfriends. That is where the majority of the abuse that they speak of comes from. They didn't specify in that study, does it come from women or men? They just asked the woman, have you ever been abused, pretty much? And she said yes. Then that's the first part. That's the part that everybody likes to cite. So it looks like, well, damn, lesbian women are obviously abusing one another more than every other group of people. But then if you read further in that same study, they asked the same women, who did you get abused by, though? Was it by women or by men? And the majority of the time, it was a man. It was their father, it was their brother, it was their boyfriend. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So before we cite studies, let's make sure we read them properly, because that is what it says. Now, I do have the study up about the IPV rate, because I talk about it all the time. If you want me to do it, I could do that, because I have it saved to my computer right here. Because men always like to start lying about this. This is right here. I can tell y'all where to look. This is on PMC PubMed. You can go look it up. I can give you I can put the link in the thing. You guys can all go look it up right now. And I can read it to you if you want. If you want to stop the whole show for me to read you the numbers, I am more than happy to do so. But I promise you that IPV rates are not similar between men and women. Women do not initiate it more than men, and men do not do it. They do not do it at the same rate on any level. And they break it down, verbal, physical. They have so many different categories. In no category is it equal. In no category is it equal. And in no category are women worse than men. So we have to, these are just unadulterated lies. If you're gonna just say stuff, that's just a lie.
I want to integrate the bottom line on the show. I'm sorry, Jason, for stopping you. I just wanted to make sure that we had an honest conversation with public offender. I just want to kind of test the waters with a weird question to him, right? Public offender, who is more likely to report DV, getting raped, all these things, like man or woman, who is more likely to come forward and says, you know what, I'm going to the cops, my woman hit me or my husband hit me? Like, who is more likely to do that?
Based on the rate of violence, men.
Huh?
Based
Man,
on the rate of
So,
violence.
well, I just want to make sure.
Who is more likely?
Just let it go.
Yeah. So you are telling. So let me get.
he
Let's
said
see if I get.
report it.
Let me see if I get this right.
Yeah.
I will slap Jada, and Jada will slap me. You are telling me I will be the first one to put my boots on, my cardigan on, walk down the street and say, Mr. Officer, Jada put their hands on me, or it's more likely of Jada call 911 and says, oh my God, Mr. Officer, Fetty put his hands on me. Which is more probable?
Yeah, I think you're not understanding your own question, because if you're asking it one way, it makes no sense. So this is what I want to make sure before I answer.
Yeah.
Are we going off of the overall number of incidents reported, or are we going off of the overall number of incidents reported versus the actual amount of incidents that happen?
We
You
are
don't, there's no way to you don't have that number. If it's not reported, you don't know the
Exactly.
actual amount.
All right,
That's the whole
thank you,
point.
Dave. I'm
Like,
so
you
glad Dave
cannot
said
bring in a
it.
hypothetical
Hold on,
when
and that's
you're
my
arguing
point.
stats.
Hold on. What Dame is saying, and that's my point. We don't have the number. So now
Right.
we're just making up shit, right? And if you're asking me my honest opinion,
Right.
I know women that women only report a fraction of rapes. Women only report a fraction of IPV.
What about men?
When I say a fraction, I'm talking about less than 10%.
No, just
The
ask
What
vast
about men?
majority of IPV does not get
That's
reported.
perfect.
The vast majority of rapes do not get reported.
We'll-
That is the reality for men or women.
We
So-
will no.
So
One
that,
second.
so
We will
that, so
accept
that
it.
entire talking point of who reports it, who's more likely to report it, hey, let's do the math. If your woman slaps you, is your woman a threat to you? Do you honestly believe? I don't know this young woman. right here.
That doesn't
If
matter.
this
A
young
crime
woman-
is a crime.
Public offender. I want to add this. This is too loud.
No,
That doesn't
public
matter.
offender. You haven't stopped. Public
You,
offender. You're not
are
stopped. Hey,
you
brother, hold on.
afraid for your life? Now
Public
that
No,
that
Ali,
woman
That's-
one second. It's fine. We're going to play his game. Let's play his game.
Play that game,
A
please,
woman
yes. I wanna
slaps
know.
me. 1 second. A woman slaps me. Is that abuse or not, public offender?
Yes, that's abusive.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if she's a threat to my life or not,
I said-
because
no. You're asking about who is more likely to report it.
1 second, please. We'll like y'all live on the United States. A slap can turn into a knife can turn into a gun. This is the
What?
country with
What is most likely to happen? I don't want to live in fairy tale. This is not Blue's Clues, brother. I'm talking about real life.
public
Are
offender.
you, if
That's
a woman
public
slaps
offender.
you, do you believe if a woman slaps you, in your mind, if you've ever been slapped
You're
by a
making
woman,
another
or
point.
hit
Public
by a
offender,
woman,
you keep
in
making
your
another
mind,
point.
you think, oh,
Nobody
man,
made that
she
point.
could take my life right
Nobody
now.
made that
Is
point.
that what crossed your mind?
Nobody made that point.
Because that's what
You know why
crosses
is
a
it
woman's
easy?
mind if a man lays hands on her.
But
which
public
is a
offender-
Fatty, but don't go there. Hold on, Fatty. Let him finish. Fatty, let him
to
finish.
prevent
Let
that
him
from
finish.
happening.
Just you gotta let him finish because he's gonna make
Yes.
public offender.
But you
You're
know
not
why,
allowing us to
Ali,
go back
you know,
and
let me actually say something to you, Ali. You know why is it disingenuous? Because 4 men in 100,000 kill woman. 100,000. 4 men in 100,000. And if I go for violent crime, is like 30 men in 100,000. So most women are virtually actually safe. It's the small minority of men, the most dangerous of men, the most violent of men that actually put this woman on
You
the
moving
ground
the
or on
goalposts
the
all
hospital. So the reality is
The
you are
goalpost is left.
moving the goalpost because you are kind of implying that women are incapable of abusing men because they are weaker, and that
I
is a
didn't- I
very
never said
that-
that.
that's
You
a
just-
very
hold on.
no.
That's not what I'm saying.
You are what
Nope.
you're doing is you're actually putting something very dangerous out there because
You
my
can
son,
stop the
if-
cap right now because
no,
that's not
if-
what I'm doing.
you
And that's why you keep talking. 'cause
didn't
you
you
don't
ask
want
me
me
to let you
talk.
didn't you ask me to let you finish?
You know if I start talking,
No,
I'm gonna fry you, right?
Didn't you ask me to let you finish? Didn't you
You
ask
know
me
I'm
to
gonna fry you, right? If I talk,
didn't
I'm
you
gonna
ask
fry you.
didn't you ask me to let you finish?
No, gonna run.
You didn't let me finish.
Didn't you ask me?
haven't let me finish this whole time.
Sir.
No,
That's-
public, you keep interrupting. We
Y'all-
let you.
y'all not letting me finish.
Hey,
Why would I
public, we
respect
let you
you?
finish.
Not
We
letting
let
me
you
finish.
finish, and then when we
Sir,
respond,
can you
brother,
let me
cut us
can you
off.
let me
Y'all
finish,
not
sir?
You not
Sir,
letting me
can
finish.
sir, can you let me
Try
finish?
it, fatty. Try it. Let him land again.
No, but I was talking. He was not even.
But Fatty,
Ali, he's fine. He's a grown man.
you already know what he's doing.
Because he's a grown man. He has to handle it. He's a grown man. Just like I'm a grown man, he has to handle it. He's fine.
You already know what he's doing.
Well, neither one of y'all really acting like grown men. So let's not
say that.
what I'm saying.
We acting like grown men. This is a grown man fight. Grown men be emotional.
ISO.
Men are so emotional.
Hey, 1 second. Sir,
But it shouldn't be an emotional thing. It's just a
1
conversation.
second, please. I'm talking. I don't want to be nobody.
I ain't emotional. I'll be honest.
Hey, and this is my show. It's not your show, I'm there to be quiet. Okay?
I understand, but I invited again.
So you need to calm down, sir. Sir, you need to calm down. On your show, you are the boss. On my show and on Ali's show, we are the ones that are going to tell you if you talk or not. So you are going to have the chance to tell us that we are children, right? I just want to say this. And then I'll pass the microphone, and the venerable humble dad can talk and lesson us about how to be a real man. Public offender. If your son and my daughter get slapped in the face, I will fight for the right of them to protect themselves equally. I'll protect your son from abuse, and I'll protect my daughter from abuse. This is what a righteous man does. He doesn't care about half of the population. He doesn't care about just the man. He cares about everybody. So if you have a son in school and a daughter of somebody comes ahead and slap him, or a grown man that is married to a woman gets slapped by a woman, I will defend him until the end of time. Okay. The same way I will defend if that woman was slapped by a man. So please, no, 1 second. Sir, this is not the one-on-one. This is not the one-on-one.
It's not, but I just want you to land the plane because it's pointless. What you're saying is pointless.
It's pointless.
It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
You know what? You got it.
Yeah.
No. You know what? I will concede. If what I'm saying is pointless, we don't have to go on the back and forth. Okay. Let's introduce the rest of the panel.
You don't even believe that. You don't even believe what you're saying.
I don't.
Because if you believe in, look, the problem with what you're describing is you're describing equality. Right? Equality is a noble quest.
Yes.
In theory, right? Equality is a noble quest. I'm with you. But there is no equality without equity. And do you know the difference between equity and equality? That makes you mad?
What does that have to say?
What does that mean?
They're not, equity and equality are not the same. Because you're talking equality. So you're talking equal rights and less, right? Meaning if a woman hits a man, he should have just as much right to defend himself against that woman if it's vice versa. That is hold on, brother. That is equality. That is equality. And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt in saying in your mind, you actually think that quest is noble, right?
I don't believe that.
See, you can't see how triggered you get.
I don't believe that man and woman are equal.
I can't even, brother. In your mind, you think that is a noble quest.
I don't believe in equality. I don't believe in equality. Why are you talking about?
Describing equality?
No. I'm describing abuse. That was the word.
Sir, you're describing the concept of equality. You didn't even know what you were doing.
A public offender. We are talking. I'm not talking about.
Why go on that ring and you don't even know what point you're
public offender. I'm not talking about man and woman. I'm talking about the word abuse, the word gaslighting, the word cheating, the word raping. Remember how we started this conversation, friends? We started the conversation like this. There's a number that proves that men are abusers of women in mass. And what you described to use that was cheating, which both people can do. Was gaslighting that both people can do. Was narcissism that both people can do. You describe all of these things. And what I'm saying is that women are capable of doing it too.
You go on these long tangents and you don't even have a point because you just proved it right now. But real quick. Again, this is not about if women can do the same things as men. That's not what this discussion is about. That's not what it is for me. That's the dumbest discussion I could ever have. I wouldn't have. Women can do, in theory, anything men can do, in theory. I agree. There's no fight there. That's stupid. The question is, do women do the same things at the same rates that men do? And the answer is unequivocally no. So stop this. It's dumb. 98% of the violence committed in the world is committed by men. 90% of rapes are committed by men against women. The majority of serial unalivers unalive women, and they're committed by men. There's no debate. There's no like,
What
oh,
is
but
that?
women
But what
can
is
be serial unalivers too.
you
But
see
women
what you're
can
doing?
rape too.
But
I
do you?
hear you.
You're
Yes,
conflating
you're
that
right.
to most. You're conflating it to most men. You're saying
No,
because
no,
a
no,
few.
no. That's
You
not
You
are.
said
You're
most
yes,
men.
you are, brother.
Ali,
You're taking
that's
a
fair.
minority.
Hold on,
Brother
Ali,
defender.
that's fair.
This
That's
is
fair.
becoming
Ali,
a circular
brother. Hold on,
conversation.
He
Fatty.
said
Nobody
most
is.
men. Hey, Damien,
Fatty,
didn't he
wait.
say most men?
You
Didn't he
won't
say
let,
most
you won't
men
let
abuse
none of the
women?
other
He
people
did.
talk, man.
He did, but
Ali,
he's gonna get
You
mad
go
and
from
threaten to
most
leave
men
and
to
all
a
that shit.
minority of
But let's go
men
to
to
Humble
the.
Dad. If you challenge it or come up with the stats or prove him wrong, he used stats to prove his point, but your stats, he wants makes him want to leave. So, Humble Dad, let's see
hold on.
what you got to
What
say
you
because
talking about,
this
man?
is circular conversation.
Who you?
All I'm
Hold on.
saying
What
is
you
just like
talking about?
He's talking to you.
I'm talking about this conversation because what you're
Bro,
basically what you're doing is having a
bro,
circular
hold on,
conversation
hold on.
about it.
I don't know you. I don't know none of y'all. But I'm gonna tell you this, brother. That's not me. I have the stats here. You guys are not equipped to have the discussion rooted in fact.
You didn't have it.
I'm just
Got
being
you,
honest
got you,
with
got you,
You don't-
got you,
nothing-
got you, got
Y'all
you,
don't
got you,
know
got you.
shit about what you're saying.
Got you,
Everything you're
got you,
saying
got
is
you,
just
got
what
How
you
you?
feel
That's
like
what,
the way it
brother.
is.
You when you said we
Fatty just
projecting, you're
demonstrated you don't
projecting,
even
brother.
have
You're
a
doing
point.
what
He
you're saying we're
just
doing.
went on a 20 second.
You're
He
doing.
went on
You're
a
doing.
2-minute tangent and didn't know what
Brother
the fuck his
defender,
point
what's
was.
going
Then
on?
when I told him
Hold
what the point was, he said,
on.
"That ain't my point." Nigga, that was your point. You just
I
saying,
would love to
I would
hear what Humble
defend
Dad has to
girl
say.
just like I would defend a
Hey,
boy. That's
let's.
equality.
No,
Humble
What the
Dad,
fuck are you talking about? You
it's
just
fine.
you've been here
defined
for a while.
equality. And I just told you
I would
there is no
love
equality
to hear what
without
Humble
pay.
Dad has to say.
That's the
Hey,
point.
hey,
Humble Dad
hey,
is
hey,
Y'all
you
don't
know,
know
now
shit.
it's
You don't
it's
even know,
actually
you
not
don't
the.
know what words you're using.
Now
You
it's
can't,
fine. Public
you don't
offender.
know shit. You
Public
don't know
offender.
shit.
1 second. Let's let Jada and
You
Humble
don't know
that go.
anything.
Let's let Jada and Humble that go. I just want to say this real quick, right? This conversation is becoming extremely disingenuous because if I wanted to play your game and I wanted to be there, you know what I would do, public offender?
Spell
Nine.
disingenuous.
No,
Shut the
one
fuck up.
second, 1 second. 90% of all.
You
Not
been
one
using
second.
that word since we started.
You have to
I don't
restrain
think you know the
yourself.
meaning of
Yeah,
it, but I know spell.
Restrain yourself.
Because I'm not being disingenuous.
No,
Restrain yourself.
brother, you
I'm
keep
not,
doing.
I'm not,
Restrain
I'm not.
yourself.
No.
Fatty, hold on, Fatty, hold on, Fatty, hold on.
No,
Hey, public
restrain
defender,
yourself.
public
Sir.
defender, you
Restrain
gotta let him
yourself.
talk, bro.
Got it. Y'all got it.
You have to let me. You have to let me
Y'all
talk.
the kings of projection. All you
Sir,
know is
You're
projection.
not letting
let
nobody
me,
talk.
Ali,
You're not
the
letting nobody
mute button is here. Hey, public offender,
You muted
respectfully.
me? Oh, I'm out.
Public offender,
Oh, I'm out.
respectfully.
I'm out.
Oh,
But
go
wait,
ahead.
I wanted
I'm
to.
out. Don't,
Now
y'all
it's
mute me.
fine.
I'm leaving.
No,
Fatty, hold
sir.
on.
No. Hey,
Don't
hey.
you-
1 second. Everybody quiet.
Don't
Everybody
mute me. I don't wanna hear none of that
Everybody
shit.
quiet.
'Cause
Everybody
you're not
quiet.
muting your homies and they
Everybody
yapping too.
quiet.
You yapping more
Everybody
than
quiet.
anybody.
Everybody
Y'all
quiet.
I don't wanna
Everybody
hear that
quiet.
shit.
Hey, sir. Everybody quiet. Okay? If you don't stop when the host is talking, right? Because I saw you on Lapif a couple of weeks ago. You were kind of behaving yourself. I don't know if you think you have more clout than us or something like that. You have 200 and something people watching your
You
side.
think I got more clout
No,
than you.
sir, I'm
Stop
not. You see,
projecting.
you're doing
You
it
think
again.
I got more clout
You
than
did it
I don't give
again.
a fuck about
You're
clout.
doing it again. No,
I'm
sir,
the
we have more
same
people
person.
watching on our side than you. What are you talking about?
Fatty.
No,
Let's come on, Fatty.
I'll
Fatty,
move along.
I need
Sam,
you
I'll
to
move along.
be exactly a good host to the other people who took the
No,
time out of their
Hey,
day.
I'll move along.
to join
I'm
the
just,
podcast.
and I was not mentioning him. I was saying this, right?
Okay.
I can be extremely disingenuous and say most false accusations are made by women. Most DNA fraud are 100% made by women. I could be disingenuous. I'm not, because we actually care for women. We care for women. I could literally go through every state that women do either exclusively or very close to it and says, you see how dangerous is this woman for putting false accusations? But I'm not doing because I want to have a fair conversation. So I will say this in public for everybody to see. This is our show. If the show has to be dropped and canceled right now because one motherfucker thinks he can overtalk the host and all that shit, I'll do it right now. Don't fuck with me. Okay? I don't fuck with y'all on your shows. I go to your shows. I shut the fuck up when you told me to shut the fuck up. If y'all keep playing with us, we're going to end the show right now. That's all I'm saying. Because we don't need this manufacture back and forth so we can have views and build. We can go right back to our life. So don't do that shit to us. We don't do that shit to you. That's all we have to say. Damien, Jada, and Humble Dad about the topic. You guys can go ahead.
There you go.
I don't really know what the question was, so Jada, go ahead. Because I know we were talking about the lady responding to about the hair and then the transition, but I appreciate y'all for having me. I didn't see that coming. Jada, you go ahead and I'll follow up.
I was just gonna say it's interesting. I got off of a coaching call talking to a couple, and the woman hits her man. So, and it's not reported. Like, men don't typically report when they are abused, emotionally abused, deal with narcissistic abuse. Women are diagnosed with BPD, which is really just emotional, like outbursts and everything, twice more than men. Men just don't report it because it's seen as like not masculine for them to go call the cops on their woman, and typically they want to protect their woman. So even if she's being physical and drew blood and everything, he doesn't want her sitting in prison. You know, it's actually funny how there's some cases where men will go pick up their woman from jail after she beat him up because he doesn't want her sitting in jail. So I just think because the men are protectors of women, that's why they're not, you know, calling abuse, you know. So there's that. And then I was going to state that these violent men, and if I'm wrong, I mean, if you guys want to look up this statistic, if I'm wrong, but aren't most violent men coming from single mother households? You know, the predators. I mean, you can look it up. I don't know. Like, that's just what my research showed that. And so that means that they're learning these behaviors from women. I mean, but the men that are coming from single father households or two parent households typically have better emotional control. I don't know why you're laughing. I mean, it's true. I don't understand.
It's true.
And I'm a woman, and I've understood that women do face some abuse and narcissistic abuse, but that doesn't take away the fact that men equally or more experience it too.
Yeah. What about you, Humble Dad? I want to make sure everybody get in for it. All right. So we go Humble Dad, my brother Damien, then Boogie, and then my brother Dark Lake, and then right back to my brother Public Offender.
So the question is about DV. Is that the domestic violence? Is that the question that we transition to?
It's just it's speaking on the topic. So it started from saying that the fact that the brother asked for the sister, he said I like my sister's hair longer. He didn't like the shorter hair. Our brother Public Offender said that was anti-black. But then I asked him, if the man said he wanted his woman in shape, would that be anti-black woman? He said no. If you want your and would it be anti-fat woman or black woman? He said no as well too. So we needed him to substantiate how saying he didn't want the woman with the shorter hair that when his type became anti-black woman, especially when men and women both have expectations and standards. And then we started talking about the abuse, and our brother said that we asked him. Fatty asked him who reports it more, man or woman, when they're being abused. He said men do, based on the numbers. And we still said that the women will report it. Most men, it will go unreported from the men. So what do you see more so, that the brothers being abusive towards the sisters, or do you see it as the sisters being abusive towards the brothers, if that's what you want to tackle? Or do you want to tackle the aspect of if a man says he wants his woman's hair natural versus her having weave, who's actually anti-black as well? Because we got to that part as well too. It was saying that that black women have their struggles with their hair, but I would think that a brother who likes a woman's natural hair is more pro-woman than a man who would advocate for her to wear unnatural hair.
Okay, cool, got it. So as it relates to hair, I mean, everybody has their preference. I wouldn't say that it would be anti-black. It just this is your preference, that you prefer a woman that has longer hair or shorter hair, just like a woman prefers a guy with a beard or no beard. Like it's not a difference in that.
I don't want to take away from your. There's no way that mic sound like the way you sounding right now. It sound like you in your room, and they know that mic sound like that. I was just gonna tell you. So the audio.
Okay, let me go try to fix it.
Okay.
Y'all go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Boogie. No, Damien. I'm sorry. My light skinned brother.
No, I've been talking a lot. We'll let Boogie and Dark Lake jump in here. I'll come back. I'll be back.
Go ahead, Boogie. Boogie Down Productions, man. Go ahead, my brother.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me? I don't want to sound like Humble Dad.
You sound good. You sound good.
You're good.
All right, what's up, guys? What's up, everyone on the panel? Hi, lady. Is that I can't see her name. Anyway, I started watching before I came on, and there's one thing that really broke my heart about what Public Defender was saying, is the fact that he doesn't understand there's so many men who suffer in silence. There are men who get slapped every single day in their houses, but they can't speak up. There are men who are sitting in jail because of false accusations. And he gave the stat that, most violent crimes are committed by men, but he didn't give the stat of how many men actually commit those crimes. So it's really, and then when we talk about the hair, men like natural hair, things like that, it's another example of men really can't have preferences about what they like. But when a woman has a preference, it's like, go queen, do your thing, strength, you're independent, you can, you will get what you want. It's like men can't even have preferences. They can't even say a single thing. And that's why most guys these days don't say anything. Because even a man saying, I want a woman in shape, will get you in trouble. You will get canceled. It's just crazy. Just recently, Kid Sweat was talking about how women don't cook and clean, and he got attacked by women. So most people who want to make money, and shout out to Public Defender, because clearly he sounds like Derrick Jackson, and that makes money. So for me, for all the men out there who want to really become rich, speak like Derrick Jackson, speak like a Public Defender. You're gonna get rich, because when there's a saying, I think some of you guys have heard the saying that if you lie, women buy. So if you want to make money, if you want to get rich, really just speak like Public Defender. But it really hurts my soul that there's so many guys who go back home, emotional abuse, financial abuse. When we talk about abuse, the first thing that we think about is women. But there are men who go through this, but they can't report it like Lady Jada said. Men can't report these things. So if most women, I don't know, maybe let's say half of the women report these things, but 1% of the men report these things. If everyone reported, you'll find that maybe the statistics are kind of similar when it comes to, DV cases. So it really hurts my soul to watch a man who seems like a good guy, but I don't know what agenda he has. Public defender, offender. I'm sorry for messing up your name, but shout out to you, bro. But it really hurts my soul just to watch you, speak from one point. It's like, women scream independent, they're strong, they don't need men, they want equality with men. But when Fadi is like, okay, let's be equal, then you're like, oh, now let's talk about equity. It's like you keep changing the goalposts to fit your agenda. But whatever your agenda is, just know there's so many men who suffer in silence. And
I want to address let me address a few things real quick before I forget. Hey, I'm nothing like Derrick Jackson. Derrick Jackson gives advice to women and tells women how to avoid dangerous men and weird men and whatever. I don't know. Also, he cheated on his wife. I don't do that. And yeah, I'm nothing like him. But I know you guys don't really know. You want me to be like Derrick Jackson. That's crazy to me. But I'm nothing like him. I talk about systemic oppression. I talk about racism.
Let him finish, Boogie.
I talk about misogynoir. I talk about I'm anti-capitalist. I am I talk about all of my content. All of my videos is what I talk about. I'm anti-religion. Derrick Jackson is a super duper Christian. I'm not Christian. I don't believe in God. You don't know what you're talking about. You calling me Derrick Jackson, you just that's just y'all go to because y'all don't know. You ain't never ran into a nigga like me. But secondly, men suffer in silence because other men make it hard for men to speak up about the stuff they're going through. Women don't make it hard. Women want men to be vulnerable, first and foremost. Women are asking, imploring men to be more vulnerable and open. Men tell other men, you can't say nothing to your woman. You can never, that's weak. You cried, that's weak. You felt some type of way that wasn't anger or indignant righteousness or whatever. Like, if you feel any type of way outside of that, if you process as a man, you have to process your emotions through either anger or happiness, joy, right? So like think your freaking favorite player hitting a 3-point at the buzzer, oh yay, or you're mad and you punch in the wall like Trey in Boys in the Hood, right? You punch in the air like Trey in Boys in the Hood. Instead of just processing when his boy got unalive, he started punching the air. You know what I'm saying? That's how men process their emotions. So when you say men are suffering in silence, that is because of other men. When women are suffering, that is also because of men. That's why you can't. That's why that statement trying to like weaponize that in these discussions, like, oh, men are suffering. I hear you, but men are suffering at the hands of men, and women are suffering at the hands of men, and children are suffering at the hands of men, and the planet is suffering at the hands of men. See what I'm saying? So you see the common denominator now. So there's no
No,
need in bringing it up that men are
Ali,
suffering.
I'd
Hold
like
on,
to respond to
hold
that.
on. Let him land, please.
If men are suffering in silence, all men have to do is speak up. Because people listen to men when men speak, people listen. Women listen first. They have to listen, even if they don't want to. Women have to listen to men. Unfortunately, the same way black people have to listen to white people when they speak, women have to listen to men. Right?
Oh, go ahead, Boogie.
All
And
right,
then
Can I
so
Dark Lake.
respond?
Yeah,
is
Boogie,
this
you can
okay?
respond, and then Dark Lake go at the Boogie.
I'm not
All
going,
right,
but is this
so
better?
What's that?
Yes.
Is my
Let me see.
mic better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
It's better.
It's okay.
all right, so when I mentioned that men suffer in silence, your first thing, something that you said is they suffer in silence because of other men. When I literally said because of being in relationships with women who make them suffer. So I don't know how that went over your head. I can't understand for it. But when I talked about Derrick Jackson, it's like, okay, the only difference between you and Derrick Jackson is maybe you don't give advice to women directly, but speaking up against men, even in situations that you know happen, is really kind of like Derrick Jackson. The only difference is between maybe you sell an electric car, he sells a car that uses gas. And then another thing that you talked about is the reason women love claim they want men to be vulnerable, and maybe the reason men are not vulnerable because they've been in situations where you
Women are going to use it
vulnerable to a
against them.
woman,
Oh, hold on,
and
brother.
then
Hold on.
I just wanted to say, I
But
want to
let,
make sure because I already
but
know
let
you're
him
going to say
finish. But
women
just
use
let
it
him finish.
against them, right?
Because
Okay.
let him finish.
so again, when you claim men are not vulnerable because of other men, how about you think about the other side of maybe because when they're vulnerable, women call them weak. Maybe because the time he was vulnerable, the woman used it against him. Maybe if a woman abuses me, if I call the police, chances are I'm going to go in cuffs first, and then they figure out what's going to happen later or what happened. Maybe that's why men don't call the police if they get abused in their own homes. Or maybe if I file a police report that, hey, listen, my woman abused me, and now there's going to be a divorce, and guess who's kicked out of the house when there's a divorce? Maybe it's the man. So when I say men suffer in silence, there are reasons. You should ask, what are the reasons? Why are the reasons, the real reasons men suffer? You shouldn't just be saying that they suffer at the hands of men. So, but it's just astonishing that you can't even think about those few simple things.
Because those things are lies. I don't think of lies. I'm a man. Like
Hold on.
the craziest thing is men trying to educate me on what men go through as if I'm not a fully freaking grown man. I'm a 43-year-old man. I know what men go through, generally speaking, not what every man is going through. I know generally the experience of men. You cannot lie to me. That's why it's so tough. That's why a man like me in these spaces, I disrupt the whole. I just one man. It's only like four men out here that ain't on the same type of time that y'all on, right? We disrupt the whole thing. We become public enemy number one simply because you can't look me in my eye and try to lie to me and tell me like, oh, you just don't understand what men go through. Really? You're gonna sit here and try to tell me that I don't know that you are probably the reason why you're in whatever situation you're in. You're gonna tell me that women weaponize their vulnerabilities against you when you've never experienced it yourself. When every single man, because that's the same playbook y'all use, right? It's like, we just don't want to open up because women will use it against us. Then I go, okay, what does it look like? Has it ever happened to you? No, it didn't happen to me. It happened to my uncles, brothers, cousins, nephews, brother-in-law 13 years ago. Or you know what? It happened. No. It did happen to me. I'm 40 years old now. But when I was in high school, I was dating this girl. Her name was Susie Q. And Susie Q made fun of me in front of the whole class. And ever since, I be like, bro, get over that shit. Y'all talking about some stuff that happened to you when you was 13 years old. You 40 years old. You 37 years old now. And you crashing out about something that happened to you. And I'll never open up to another woman again. Like, bro, stop lying. Ain't no woman ever weaponized your vulnerability against you. And lastly, the thing that men think is weaponizing their vulnerability against them is when a woman accurately brings up something from your past to show you why you are acting the way you're acting in your present. So you are trying to be controlling of a woman, right? And she goes, the reason why you're acting like that is because your daddy abandoned you. You have abandonment issues because your daddy left you. She's trying to help you clock your shit, like put your shit together so you could be a fully functioning
This
human
nigga
being.
is crazy.
Can I say something?
Hold on. Mark, they still gotta go and
Somebody else gonna get a chance. Yeah, this nigga gonna,
let him land.
he
Man, let
sound
him
worse
land.
than the women.
Mr. Fantastic, I'll be quick too. So you can go after me. I'll be real quick.
Hey, Dark Lake, do I look like I'm starving?
No.
Oh my God, it never happened to me. So there's no people starving in the planet. Here's how this logic sounds. Like my fridge is full. I order 2 Uber Eats per day. I go outside, get a nice meal. I'm healthy, more than healthy. I am obese in a clinical term. Does that make millions of people going to sleep every day with their belly empty? No. So your point is ridiculous, because just because I never put my hands on a woman doesn't mean that other men didn't. Listen carefully. I guarantee you most of them on this panel, if not all of them, never put their hands on their woman. But you know what we do?
Money on
No.
you wouldn't put no money on that.
No, sir. Sir, you know what we do? Even though I never put my hands on woman, I will always acknowledge women that got their hands, like somebody put their hands on them. I will never straw man woman and say, I didn't put my hands on woman. Ali didn't put his hands on woman. So why would I acknowledge you that got somebody put their hands on you? That shit is gaslighting. And it's a form of abuse. Because we started this conversation saying what? Men are abusers because they are narcissists. You are now proving, sir, that you are an abuser too, because you are gaslighting the whole crowd and 500 people watching this shit just for the fact that you are pretending that if I don't do it, I never been through it, that doesn't mean it's not happening. That's your
Do you know what
word.
gaslighting means? Do you know the definition of gaslighting?
Yes. Let me explain to you. Gaslighting is making the victim think they are crazy. It's flipping on them and pretending that, oh my God, this is your fault. I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
If I have a problem with my wife, and it's a real problem because she's not doing her job, and I go to her and she says, oh, Fatty, you have abandonment issues. This is why your daddy never told he was proud of you. She's gaslighting me because I truly have an issue with her. And instead of her saying, I need to do better, she's saying it's your fault because you have daddy issues. So, sir,
Which is a
you
form
are an
of abuse.
abuser. You are an abuser. You are a gaslighter. Because that's what you're trying to do.
Fatty, if I may.
I'm glad y'all live in this,
Fatty, if I may.
I'm glad you created this false narrative to make a point. But the reality is that when you brought up the stat about children being people starving or whatever, there's actual numbers to substantiate that claim, right? So that would be gaslighting if I were to try to make it seem like, because I don't miss a meal, that there are many people in the world that don't miss a meal. Again, because there's actual scientific data to substantiate that claim. The thing that you're talking about, you cannot produce any data. You can only give me at best anecdotal experience.
So now if it's not scientifically tracked, it's not true. So hold on.
A bunch of lying ass men that when it's convenient, they go, oh yeah, know what happened to me.
I can prove it.
Like you just said, when you go to your wife and talk to her about her job.
But now if it's not scientifically tracked, it's not true. It can't be true. That's what you're saying. You just went to worse logic.
He said if it's not scientifically tracked.
No.
You just said if it's not scientifically trackable or factual, now it's just it doesn't happen. That's your argument.
No, that's not. That's again, y'all listening to argue. Right?
Well, I'm not listening to argue. We're listening to what you're saying.
I'm not, sir. I'm not speaking in absolutes. Of course, there are things I talk about this all the time. There are things that we we're on the same page there. So are we saying we're on the same page? We are. No, we are. I agree with your premise. I'm not arguing with you. That is not absolute. So I'll change my premise. So I'll change my verbiage. So let me change my verbiage. So what you're saying is, if it's not scientifically tracked, it can't be trusted, or it's speculative. Listen to what I'm saying, and you won't have to ask me a question because I can explain it to you. So what I'm saying is that there are things that there is science to support it, and it may not be in the way I have to explain to people all the time. I don't look for like a silver, a magical bullet, right? Where it's like, it says right here that every man, you know, whatever. Like for an example, when we talk about narcissism, the majority of people who are diagnosed with narcissism are men, right? That's first and foremost. Secondly, considering the fact that the majority of men have no interest in getting a diagnosis, would lead me to believe that if more men actually went to the doctor and got diagnosed, that narcissism would be way higher than whatever we think it is. And more men actually went and got diagnosed. I think that the majority of men, I think we breed men to be narcissistic. I think that our society we have created a nation full of narcissistic men, or men who have, at the very least, a ton of narcissistic traits. Not so much.
Who raised those men?
It doesn't
Who
go
raised
both
those
ways.
men?
Women are not
Yeah,
bred to be narcissistic.
Well, no, but hold on. The thing about narcissism. So hold on. Is there not? Wait. So hold on. Here
y'all go.
Narcissism. Is it not good and bad narcissism? Is it not good and bad narcissism?
No, narcissism is bad. Generally speaking, it's bad.
No,
I've never heard.
Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. Brother, you know what you're talking about. Well, you never heard of it, so you don't know what you're talking about. So thank you. You don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Well, the fact that you don't know what you're talking about, you said there's no such thing as good narcissism.
You just said there's a good version of narcissism.
Yes, there is. There have been psychologists that have said this. There's been psychologists that said there's a necessary level. Well, hold on. So hold on, brother. You're horrible. You're horrible. Let somebody else speak, brother. You asked me a question. Let me answer it. You asked me a question. Let me answer it. You've been talking. You've been having the mic more than anybody. You've been having the mic more than anybody. Keep talking.
That I've never heard of.
1 second.
We can just keep talking. My bad, fatty.
Public offender. You like again? Like you can't be doing. You ask a question. Let him answer.
I didn't ask him. He didn't answer the question.
You did. You literally asked me a question.
You can't explain to me what is good. Like this.
And
I tried to explain it. You kept fucking machine gun.
Narcissism look like. You saying, oh, so psychologists are saying there's a good version of narcissism.
Bro,
nigga,
you don't remember
what
you don't. Okay, so let him.
Let me answer.
Yes, please. I'm listening.
Okay, so there's a necessary level of narcissism that everyone maintains, and it's kind of similar to your self-esteem, right? Narcissism isn't always negative. Hold on, brother. Hold on. Listen. Hold on. You are not shut the hell up, bro. Ain't nobody talking while you talking, bro. Nobody talking while you talking, and this shit getting aggravating.
My wife's a mineral psychologist.
Getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
Hey, you have to stop. A public offender.
Nah, I ain't gotta stop.
A public offender. You say shit that triggers us all the time. Every word that you say. No, listen. Every word that you say triggers. You know what we say? Hey, let me finish. You say, hey, fellas, let the man finish. Ali actually did the concerned effort of saying, hey, we're going to let him finish to see if he stops. Ali is actually trying to put the effort on it, right? And now, every time we say something that triggers you, you jump on the conversation.
I'm not triggered.
So if you're not triggered, let him finish then.
I think
prove it.
I think what's happening is you think that
prove it.
We don't need an explanation. Prove it.
This is why people like him. This is why, and I'm telling you something that actual psychologist said. You don't have to take my word for it, bro. You can literally Google the shit. You can literally Google it. You can literally Google it. This was said by a psychologist, bro.
We don't need an explanation. And this is what you're doing is extremely disrespectful. Is that every time we get into this bottleneck, you stand up and you go get some drinks.
Go get your wife. Go get the psychologist. Yeah, we give him what he wants.
One second, please, Fantastic. If this man know what he's talking about, he will actually know that women are very attracted to dark trait,
triad traits, yes.
Psychopathy, which is narcissism, and which is Machiavellism. Why do you need the level of narcissism? Because you are going to put your family and yourself first. You're going to climb on that motherfucking corporate job. You are going to step on everybody that you need to do, and you have no remorse about it because your wife and your kids are actually more important. You are going to kill the invaders
Yes.
without feeling guilty
Yes.
because that's your job for you need to do for actually protect that woman. You can
Damn,
be
fatty.
altruistic and all that shit. This is
Fatty, are
easy.
you a psychologist? Hold
And we're
on,
not,
fatty.
and we're not being
Are you a fucking
shamed anymore.
Portuguese
We're not being
psychologist?
shamed for that
Like,
anymore.
Hold on, fatty. Wait, fatty. Are you a Portuguese psychologist, brother?
This makes no sense. I don't get it.
Should
Why
do.
is
Exactly. What the fuck are we talking about here? That's what I'm saying. This is what those type of dudes do. These are the fucking simps. These are the super simps. Motherfucking women never did nothing to men. And now anything that a man does, a man can never be a victim. Anytime you say anything a man does is your fault, you're saying you're taking away the fucking you're taking away any accountability from women. That's the same shit as saying women are children. No, the fuck they're not. They're adults. Okay? And until you start holding women accountable, shit is never gonna change. As long as you say anything that happens to the man is the man's fault, the women get the motherfucking use the fucking bullshit, and this nigga know they love for one simp ass super simp nigga to jump up and say this shit. Well, a man said it. A man said it. So what y'all talking about? Y'all just weak. Y'all just not real men. Y'all not. It's a disqualifier, bro. But we know who he's talking to. This is why he can't stand to speak to men. He can't have no conversation with fucking men because he only want to speak to the hoes. He don't want to be challenged. He gonna run every time because he motherfucker has the mind of a goddamn woman.
So why give him so much attention?
Because he's you pave fucked up roads. You don't pave good roads. Jada doesn't need correction because she knows what she's saying and she knows what she's doing. You correct people and you engage with people that are actually saying some fucked up shit. So that's why we engage with him, because he's actually the fucked up road. And matter of fact, and you can pick it up, humble dad, like this is easily Googleable. How dark traits can be weaponized for good. Healthy trait, high self-esteem, ambition, good preservation, can make a man seem more desirable, assertive, goal-oriented. All that, like you can find good things in violence. If you are a violent man, right? Wouldn't you want a violent man to protect your village? Wouldn't you want a violent man to actually use this shit to protect a man that is attacking a woman? Wouldn't you want a violent man to stop a war? So even the good traits can be bad. Water can poison you if you drink enough water or if you drown. And bad traits can actually be positive because they will have their side that is going to be helpful to protect your family and society. But this man keeps focusing on the worst things of man and on the best things of woman. And this is why Joker is a villain and Batman is a hero. Because Batman is valued by the worst things he did in his life and Joker is valued by the worst. And this shit is unfair because everybody has a dark side. You can be talking about men crazy and saying men are abusers. Most of them. Are most of them abusers? No.
Right, but I get what you're saying, Fatty. Listen, I understand what you're saying, and I've been listening to everybody communicate, right? And so what I'm saying is, if anything, this is more for views, right? But if we're trying to get to a point of solution, then we should talk about how can we get it to a point of where there is a solution and how can we move forward. When we continue to highlight an individual that we perceive or feel like is deterring the conversation in a way that is just to spark a situation of where it's not genuine, then we are really going nowhere, right? So if we perceiving, and I'm just saying, if we're like, for example, if I'm in education and I've been in education for a long time, if I'm giving attention to the kid that I perceive to be the bad kid, they are going to continue to do what it is that they're doing because they are receiving the attention.
No, but you need to highlight that kid is bad.
So if you go away from them, then you begin to talk about what actually is going on, then you'll get to the solution. Like, for example, most of us know that there is a situation where women, we're talking about the preferences. Women have preferences, men have preferences, right? And it's not anti-Black. But however, we will have the conversation knowing that it doesn't knowing the truth of it, but then we'll have a conversation with an individual that is going with the false narrative. Like, what does that say about us as individuals to have a conversation with somebody who we know is being disingenuous, if we feel that way, or we know that he is speaking non-truth? I'm saying I'm saying that what needs to happen is that we need to either ignore him, right? And move to the point of trying to get to the goal line, because he is not trying to be on the side of that. Otherwise, what we're doing is just looking for clicks and views. When
Okay.
in my estimation, we should be looking, okay, so for example, the way that we can get to a point of resolution is identifying the problem, right? And one of the problems is that women need to see that men have preferences, and those preferences are okay. That you should not get offended by somebody's preference, right? Either way. We also know that men are more violent than women. Like that's not a conversation. We also know that men are not going to report for the fact of how we fear things, in the sense of how we would have a public perception of. We know what the public perception will have of us, men or women. Right, we know that. So I'm saying, why argue with somebody who is not? He's not arguing from the position of trying to have an answer. He's arguing to just have an argument, right?
I can
Because
answer
some of
that.
the things that he said were actual, right? But some of the things that he's saying is just not facts.
I can answer that, right? You would know if you got here on time, because you got here 30 minutes later. So before you got here, most of the people on the panel, Damien, Ali, me, and public offender, were talking actually about the issue. Men have the right to their preferences. We really repeated what you said. You got here late, so you didn't hear it. The second thing that I'm going to say, Humble Dad, and this to me is virtual signaling, what you're doing right now. I'm so familiar with you because I saw Lapi for years, right? You have a brilliant student and you have a problematic student. You have a brilliant football player and you have a football player that can't seem to get their plays together. Are you going to focus on who? On the star player that already is scoring 7 touchdowns and skipping people, running the play? Are you going to focus on the best student of the school that it gets ace every single time, or you're going to fuck on the shitty student or on the shitty player so they can become better and you actually can show to everybody that you are a good coach because you coach shitty people and shitty wives and shitty kids and shitty men to become better than they are, instead of focusing on the road, on the player, on the student that already is good by himself? Which one are you going to focus more, Humble Dad? Please explain to me.
All right. So just so you know, focusing on the bottom of whatever group that you're in is not going to lift you up that much. You're typically supposed to focus on the average of what's going on in the classroom. If you're a manager, you're supposed to focus on the average of people, because what happens is when you focus on the bottom of people, that means that if you're in a group setting, that means that the people that are on a higher tier are bored. And so you're going to lose them with you trying to spend a whole bunch of time on this person that is not productive. When in actuality, and you can go read this in any book as it relates to management or leadership, right, is that you need to focus on the individuals that are there, that are producing from, at least from the halfway mark on up. Right. So that's what I'm saying to you. And I've been in management for a very long time. And that's what my degree is in, if that even matters. Right. So what I'm saying is that he is in this situation is at a point of where he's not a point of trying to be as a resolution. He is just trying to focus on a problem, right? And if we continue to address him, and we know that he is against what it is that we're saying, then you're not going to get him to a point of coming over. You're just going to be in a continuation.
But your mate is not matching. You know why your mate is not matching? I focus on the minority of men that put their hands on women.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. Let's talk about, since you're virtual signaling, let me virtual signal.
What do you mean?
I will walk with you. You are doing what he's doing. You are doing what he's doing.
I want you to clarify your statement.
And I'm clarifying if you let me finish, sir.
I didn't. Okay.
I was already clarifying. Okay.
Okay. Virtual signal.
I have 80 men that don't put their hands on women, and I have 20 that do. I'm going to focus on the 20 that do, because the 80 men that don't do it are already doing good. If I have to concentrate on the 20 men that are deadbeat dads and having 7 kids and 7 baby mamas, and I have 80 men that are not doing that, the 80 men need to be left alone. I need to talk with the 20 men that are not responsible and are fucking up the village and tell him, hey, we can do this over here. We can have all baby mamas and you don't take care of kids. These kids are going to be problematic. If I have 80 kids that are doing what they do, and I have 20 carjacking, gangbangers, drug dealers, I have to focus on them, because the minority is going to fuck it up for the majority. This is what happens in society. You focus on the people that are fucking it up because it's always a small percentage of men, women, and children that are going to fuck it up for all of it. And that's mathematics. Let me give you a perfect example. We have 100 men. Discipline. Take care of your kids. All of that shit. You have 5 men on a village that have 4 baby mamas. 5. And by the time they're done, there's 20 kids outside with no dad doing shit. You can see how 5 men can turn into 20, and how these kids are raised by single mothers, and this can turn into 50, and 50 can turn into 100, and 100 can turn into 1,000, because a small percentage of people is doing the damage in society. Most countries are in peace. Why would I focus on Portugal that is in peace when Israel and Iran are warring each other, when Pakistan and India are fighting each other, when Ukraine and Russia are fighting each other? Why should I focus on Brazil when Brazil is peaceful? I will focus on the countries that have a problem because the world is safe when nobody's fighting. So once again, I understand the virtual signaling. This is your brand. This is what you do. We need to focus on the solution, but respectfully, you have to focus yourself on fucked up roads. Nobody complains about good roads. Your car is nice and is safe on good roads. You have to focus on the roads with potholes and actually fix that shit, because if not, your car can walk 99% of good roads. The day that you get on a bad road and fuck up and get on a pothole, now your car is done. So we have to focus, yes, on bad things, on people that are actually pushing this shit, not on people that are already solved, already healed, and are doing the good thing. You have the chance to rebut those?
I don't know what you. Okay, well, I appreciate that. Okay, so virtual signaling, like I said, I don't know what you mean by that, other than, yes, I am solution based for sure, because that's how things get done, right? You got to first address the problem. And we see that in this conversation of individuals that are trying to understand what's going on. I said, in this conversation, we already know that he is not moving. So why would we continue to try to move him in aspect of trying to get the conversation to get somewhere? And what I'm saying is, if he's saying that men are going to be the problem, well, we have 8 other people saying, no, there is a different way and a different method of as it relates to who is doing what. Right, then why continue to have him be a part of the conversation? Like, for example, if he said he was going to leave, then he should just leave. Like, you shouldn't cater to him.
Hold on, let him finish, man. Let him finish, man.
It's not real quick.
And then you can respond to him.
It's not real quick. What I'm saying is that if he was to be a part of the conversation, which he is, but he begins to be a part of yes, I was late, and I apologize for that. If he becomes a detriment to the conversation moving forward, why would we continue to have the conversation when you see that he's not moving from his position?
The same way you stayed on the P for the same way you stayed on the P for 2 years when people that were clearly there to fight and disagree, and you stayed there for 2 years. So no, sir.
Are you talking about King Talk?
No, sir. I know you.
No, you don't know me.
We come from the Anton Fight Club Lapiv crowd. We saw you.
I wasn't on it.
Sir, we saw you week by week, either be on King Talk or whatever, would go on back and forth with people that disagree with you. If you can go on a back and forth with people, if you can go on the back and forth with people that disagree with you, right? Because that's literally the conversation. You sit with people that disagree, and we have a back and forth, and we try to get a consensus, right? Why should we as content creators say, you know what? We are going to kick him from the panel so we can all agree with each other.
Yeah, that's what I'd just like to point something out to you, and I'm so sorry. Wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh no.
If I leave, it's an echo chamber. But real quick, I just want to say something. I actually only talk about the problem. The problem is deeper than saying it's just men. It's a system of oppression that is called the patriarchy. The same way it's linked to capitalism and it's linked to racism. They're all a part of the same system. They're a three-headed monster, right? There's other there's other institutions that are underneath those underneath those 3 institutions, but those 3 institutions are the problems collectively, right? That is what we live in. We live in a racist, capitalistic, patriarchal society that is oppressive to pretty much every man, woman, and child. There is a hierarchy. The patriarchy is a hierarchy where men generally are at the top. In our patriarchy, white men are at the top, right? There's patriarchies where Asian men are at the top.
What do you mean when you say our patriarchy? What does our patriarchy mean?
What?
Is the black
that we
our
live
patriarchy?
You talking about America? You
one-
talking about America?
It's America. Hey,
America. You talking about America?
No, let him finish. Let him.
Hey,
Let him
no,
finish.
That was
let
just
him
clarify.
finish.
Please let me finish.
Let him finish.
I
y'all.
just want to make sure that you say is the black community a patriarchy?
Yes. So
No, the fuck
the
it's not.
black community, the black community is a patriarchy, but
No, it's not.
more importantly,
Let him land, y'all.
Jesus Christ. But more importantly, the black community exists within the white racist capitalistic patriarchy. More importantly, whether the black community is a patriarchy or not, y'all can debate that with your mamas. I don't care. But I know black people are under the rule of the white patriarchy in this country, right? The white hegemony, right? That's the system that we exist in. That's identifying the issue, right? Just to put a face on it, a name on it. That's identifying the issue. None of y'all are talking about that. Like I said in the beginning, I talk about that all the time. I only talk about
real quick. So just real quick, just hold on. Before you, brother, you can't. Well, it's not about. I understand. Let him land.
Go ahead,
but
Finesse. Go ahead.
I'm asking you a clarifying question. So you're saying that patriarchy and the American capitalistic system is the issue. What's the solution?
If you would listen, okay, thank you. Because I was about to.
Well, just tell us. Just tell us. I mean, you did all that to get around. Just give us the answer.
Brother,
Give us the answer, then give us the explanation.
It's fine.
Can you
It's
give us
fine.
the answer, then explanation, please?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, and I will fill up.
Lord,
Go ahead.
Then explanation, brother. You are long-winded as shit.
It's fine. Go ahead, public offender, and then I have a follow-up question. Go ahead, public.
Okay.
I want to go after your question, Fat, because I've been listening.
If you want me to tell you the solution, there are different levels, right? But the first place we have to start, and this is where I come in at personally, where we have to start is men individually need to start making the decision to be better people. And what does that look like? Men need to be safe for women. We need to be safe for children. And we need to be safe spaces for other men too, absolutely. But and by safe, I mean we need to allow men to be able to express themselves around us, other men. We need women to be able to express themselves. We need to not abuse, not cheat, not beat, not all that other stuff. We need to show up for our children. We need to be there for our kids. We need to actually be invested in our communities. We need to not be hyper-violent. We need to not be hypersexual. We need to, I don't believe in black capitalism will never save us from capitalism. So I'm not on that like circulate the black dollar bullshit. But we definitely need to go get educated. We need to, whether you do it in school or out of school, actually get educated, actually be able to read past the 6th grade and be able to articulate yourself properly and be able to understand and comprehend the words that.
Well, we know this already though.
Maybe not having loan debt. Maybe that'll help too, right?
Say that again. What you say?
Maybe not having loan debt. Maybe that'll help too, don't you think?
No, I mean, we live in a capitalistic society. If not all debt is the same, yes, men have a ton of men have more consumer debt than women do. Black men have a ton of consumer debt.
No,
so,
that's not
true.
Hold on,
it's not true.
Y'all still.
It's not true.
Hold on.
It's not true.
Now
you just
it is true. Men have more consumer debt than women. Women
no,
we don't.
Men does not. That is
you don't
not
have either or.
You know what? I'm gonna go swim with my kids, man. I love y'all.
Yeah, go right ahead, brother.
Okay.
Bring him back.
No. One second. You left. So the follow-up question would be, if this is about the white patriarchy, why is he blaming black men? That was going to be my follow-up question. If woman bad behavior is because of the white patriarchy of the men in power, when literally the black community is controlled by black moms because they are the ones raising the next generation, why is so much smoke for black men when they don't control the white patriarchy? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like these men, and like on the chat, because this is what he does, right? He had 300 people watching, we had 400. All the women, yeah, I'm glad that you left. Yeah, oh my God. We understand that he is a hyena whisperer, humble dad. We know. And that's what he's in a whisper. He's going to appeal to the worst woman so he can profit for it. But like I said, we have to actually tackle people like this because people like these are going to fuck it up for everybody. Just like Derrick JAXN was fucking up for everybody, and everybody had a problem with it because he was lying to women while he's doing the same thing. He was literally talking about himself when he was talking about men, the cheaters and the gaslighters. So there's a reason why we're doing this, Humble Dad. And I would love for you to kind of give us grace and see what we've been doing, because on 15 episodes of Super Panel, this probably is the worst of the worst. This is the first time where we got second time the poly lady was a little bit crazy. But for the most part, we are here actually to have healthy conversations because that's what we do. But
I know
today,
I wasn't talking about your other shows. I was just talking about this one.
But but that's the thing. Do you should we be judged by what we did on these 1 hour and 45 or for what
I
we
wasn't judging the show, like your overall, like what y'all do typically, because I asked Ali could have your boy on because I like the dialogue. You know what I'm saying? And so and when I watch, y'all usually are having a dialogue, is what I'm saying. And so I like to be a part of dialogues that are being productive, even if there's a disagreement. What I was communicating in this scenario is that he was not willing to. He believes that this is about to be an echo chamber, and he believes that he is bringing something that is going to be helpful to the conversation. Now he does. I think on both parts when we're talking. When people are communicating, even though you may disagree, the thing that he was doing wrong and was that he kept interrupting, but he was asking for people not to interrupt him. Right now, if you looked up some of the things that he said, some of the things that he said was actually true. Even if you
he said nothing true, right?
Paradise, don't be impulsive.
When I looked up and I just typed it in because this is what y'all asked us to do, who has more consumer debt, men or women? It says in general, men tend to carry more consumer debt than women across most categories, with the notable exception of student loans. That's just me doing a quick Google, right? Now, if I needed to go look at who did the study and who was in the study, then that's a different thing. But if I just do what y'all asked him to do, or he asked us to do, then it goes to what he said was true, right? So that's all I'm saying.
What woman carry more is bad debt. Because there's
I'm not disagreeing.
There's good credit and there's bad credit. Right?
And he was
we
saying
all know,
that too.
And I brought up loan debt. He's the one who implemented consumer debt. He was deviating from the argument that I had presented.
Agreed, but I'm saying that I am agreeing with that, right? But I'm saying that the statement that he said was true, and somebody said no, that's not true. The statement that he said was true, even though it wasn't to go. It was to go against what you said, but he was not acknowledging your statement. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, that's why it's going to be a disconnect, because y'all was arguing two different things.
I don't think. Yes, you can. I don't think he's a disconnect. I think that he actually is not a good listener, because he would say things. He would say things like
means.
Yes, like he would say something. We would say, "You said this." He says, "No, I didn't." What?
Right.
You actually said it multiple
That's why
times.
I continue to have that conversation with that dude, because it's not going to be productive. That's all I was saying. And as he's gone, and we're dialoguing, even though we may have a disagreement or difference of a vantage point, we're still able to have a conversation and move it forward. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but Humble Dad, the thing about it.
And by the way, Dark Lake and Paradise, please go next. I have to read the super chat and then we'll go to the main event. Okay, we're going to talk about Kevin Samuel's impact. Go ahead.
Oh, the thing about
Dark
it is
Lake and Paradise, yes.
Okay, I just want you to realize too, no offense to you, man, but that was kind of a long sort of conversation that you had between you and Fatty about, he's not, this is not going to create a solution. But that was a long conversation you had that also didn't create a solution. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just mentioning, we shouldn't have this conversation, there's no resolution. But that was like a large portion of the show, kind of toward the latter end. And you weren't bringing up any resolution. You were just bringing up that no one was bringing up a resolution. So that's why I think it's important for, people's ideals to be called out intellectually. And I just wanted to basically bring up my issue with the statement that was made on the show. The statement that was made was that most men are abusers, right? And what
Yes.
I've been noticing is that essentially the issue is qualifying abuse. That's the issue, because abuse is any action or behavior that intends to cause harm, control, and manipulate.
And he
Right?
was slick with it because he said things that will literally encapsulate all the population. At some point of
Exactly.
time, you
That's what
gaslight
I wanna.
somebody, you lied to
Yeah.
somebody, you cheated, you like what,
And
verbal abuse. Me and Ali fight all the time.
Right.
Did I verbally abuse him? Does it make me now part of the list? That shit is
Right.
crazy.
But see,
See what I'm
but
saying?
here's the thing that kind of like pisses me off a little bit. And I actually wasn't going to speak to him directly. I was just going to state what I'm stating now, my issue with his statement. Basically, it's like he used a qualifier for abuse, which is his reason as to why most men are abusers in his opinion. And the qualifier that he used was cheating. That cheating is abuse. So that's his evidence as to why most men are abusive in society. So when I talk about qualifying abuse, I'm basically referencing determining the actions and behaviors that constitute abuse. So there's a cause and effect to everything, not to justify cheating, right? But anyone who has any form of like species of reason, right, knows that it's a realistic scenario where a man could cheat if a woman is withholding sex. That's a realistic scenario, right? Not to justify cheating. Now, if a woman in this scenario I'm presenting to all of you is withholding sex, that falls into the manipulation category, right? And if it falls into the manipulation category, then it is considered abuse. Now, that's qualifying abuse. When men are on the receiving end of abuse in relationships, it seems like men like him and a lot of people all of a sudden don't know about qualifying abuse anymore.
It changed it. No, it does. He changed it. You know why he changed it? Because I think I mentioned, what did I mention? It was denying sex or something like that that woman do. False allegation, punching. And he said, Patty, does a woman punching you hurts you? Oh, so now we're going from abuse to does he hurt? Right? Me being denying sex by my wife doesn't hurt me at all. I can go up and they call for, but is it still abuse? So he's moving the conversation. He's going from abuse is A, and then when you say woman do A too, oh no, but it doesn't hurt. But so he's changing the qualifier, so he will always be right at the end.
He did that to Buggy. No, he literally did that to Buggy.
Yes,
Buggy React. I think Buggy, Buggy brought up a point about, oh yeah, when a woman uses something you're passed against you, which is probably a reason why men aren't so forthcoming or vulnerable in the first place, right?
He said it's your fault. She's helping you.
Turned it around and said, "Well, no, there's a reason why she's helping you do it." Let's just say he's right. That's bullshit. But let's just say he's right about that, right? Well, it still doesn't identify the fact that you felt pain from her doing that, right? It's still negating your state of mind and your emotions in that moment when that happens. So even if he's right, he's still disregarding your value as a person.
And you can
I agree.
You can flip. You know how you can flip it on there? Hey, fat bitch, go to the gym. Oh my God, this is emotional abuse, verbal abuse. No, I'm trying to help you. You see how disingenuous the conversation is? I can call you a fat hoe because you actually fat and you were once upon a time a hoe. And that is literally verbal abuse. And then turn around and says, I'm trying to help you. I don't want you to be a fat hoe. So I'm trying to help you. Do you see how disingenuous this shit is using playing of other people to kind of flip it as the good? This is the definition of gaslighting. I'm insulting you. And then when you ask why you hurting me, it's for the best of Cinderella. We just abuse you because we want the best for you, Cinderella. It's not that we are mean girls and we think we are better than you. It's just that we want you to be a hard worker so you can be ready for the prince. That's gaslighting one-on-one. And this is the problem in these conversations is women are the primary motherfucking gaslighters because they can punch you in the face. That's the way they use the words to manipulate men, and men use their hands to manipulate the world. That's what it is. So if you are categorizing women and saying most men are abusers, and then we flip it and you say, oh, but that doesn't hurt. That shit makes no sense. And I get why Humble Daddy's saying this shit, but somebody has to stop him, Humble Daddy.
I think, and
Might not
I
be me,
understand.
might not be us, but somebody has to. That if Joker is around with 300 people, 300 hyenas saying, yeah, like shit it on. Somebody has to stop him. You know what I mean? It's Kevin Samuels, if it's me, if it's you, if it's Andrew Tate, if it's Annabelle, if it's Jada. I don't know who is has the capability to do it, but I don't think that we just ignoring this type of people actually will help, because these people are actually creating monsters, like truly
Well,
monsters.
Fatty,
I wasn't saying to ignore him.
No,
That's
that's
not
right.
what I
That's
was.
right. Go ahead, Styles, and then we go
well,
to the
Can I
uh,
add something, Fatty, real quick too?
absolute Styles. Can you wait just 1 second, Styles? Go ahead, Jada, and then
no, ladies first, ladies first,
yeah,
ladies first, ladies first.
Paradise and Interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh, all I wanted to say was like it's good for I think at least my women followers to see that, because like when I was reading, all the people he brought in, the women were just the angry feminists that were like saying, go Jaden, speak. And they were saying like basically to insult Fatty. And he's getting so much attraction from just saying everything that the woman wants to hear. And those women are typically the modern day narcissistic feminist women where it's
Yes.
all men. And that's why he's doing that. And they're feeding his ego to where he keeps going, and he can't even be at this point. He's actually narcissistic himself. He can't even like humble himself down to hear anybody else. And it's always so interesting to me how it's a room full of men, and he's the one person that nobody else agrees with him, and he can't even sit to like listen to another person's perspective. And then lastly, I think it's good for women to see, because those type of men, it reminds me of the study of like the primates, where the big like orangutans were, it was a study done. They said that there was big orangutans that they don't even flock up to the trees. The women are up in the trees, but the big masculine ones don't even have to flock up. The women will naturally flock to them. But the ones that can't pull women, they go up into the trees with the woman, right? And so it was referring back to these male feminists that want to appeal to the women to as a mating strategy for the women to be attracted to them. So yeah, I want women to see that, because he actually is more likely to be abusive to a woman, because if you noticed his mannerisms were very feminine, where he would hear you guys be triggered and then have like a feminine response, almost like like just start laughing.
He would stand
I
up
couldn't
and leave every time
imagine.
he doesn't like the conversation, come back.
That's a woman. That's a woman. I couldn't imagine being in a relationship with a man like that. And then anytime you trigger him, he reacts with so much expression and just irritable, and then cuts you off and has to keep talking over you. And it's not a masculine quality. And those men are actually more likely to put you through a lot of psychological abuse as a woman. So I think women should actually see that. I'm gonna clip that.
You definitely should. Styles, you can go ahead. And friends, we need 20 subscribers to get to the 8,000 mark. Shit moving fast over here, so I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'll read the super chat in a second.
Yeah.
We need 20 subscribers to get to the 8,000 mark. Okay. Go ahead, Styles. Read the super chats. And I don't know if Mr. Fantastic wants to say something because he was out for the second. So go ahead, Paradise. Sorry for the delay.
No, you cool. I totally agree with Jada. I mean, it's just almost like you're attracting the wrong type of woman, and even those women you're attracting still gonna want a masculine man anyway. So it's like those men don't get those type of women anyway. So I get what you were saying, Humble Dad. It's like, he. It's not like he's dumb. Like, he can talk good and stuff like that, but you can tell he's an agent. He came to do a mission accomplished. Now, Humble Dad, when you say, well, Fatty, why bring them on? Or when you say, why let them talk? Why not move on? Well, that's what makes TV. If we all agree with each other, no one's gonna watch it. And then plus, we're not gonna kick him off. He's a grown man. He was over talking people. He had the floor a lot, so we can't do anything but just let the dude get it off the chest. Like, honestly, because he put himself in a deep hole that the woman he was trying to impress, and the men that he's trying to upset are both like gonna go against what he was saying. So I think that's ultimately why he hung up. He thought he was doing something, mission not accomplished. And I just think, be masculine and stand for something. Yeah.
Fantastic. You want to say something before we go to the super chat in the minute?
Yes. Well, shout to Styles. He probably kind of did the same thing I was gonna say to Humble Dad. There's no disrespect, brother, but this is why you let people talk, because we had a woman literally break down everything that he said and counter it and give explicit details that were pertinent to, the conversation. Had we shut him up, we wouldn't have got Jada Bell's expert, opinion of this from a woman that's countering and knocking out all of the crap that he said. She's even assessing his crowd. So shout out to Jada Bell for, it's the reason why, right? And like we all know this, bro. Again, a part of this stuff is nobody wants an echo chamber. Like, if we all agree here and we just all saying the same thing, who's being edified? If they didn't listen to us, at least probably one or two of those 300 angry ass women out here might have listened to Jada Bell, and she might have saved one woman because she pointed out all those things and she opened her eyes up. They hate the hell out of us because they're feminists, but if a woman says it, it might have some things. So this is why a lot of times you have to let the controversial people do what they do, especially if it's easily defeatable. I mean, shout out to Fatty, like I said. I mean, this stuff is like we've seen all of this. So all it does is still man our arguments when we have the proof and things to back what we're saying, and then on top of everything else, a woman comes on and and just solidifies everything that he was saying was just had a motive to it.
Hey, before you jump, let me just jump in before you go to the main topic. Humble Dad, I'm with you. I guess maybe it's an older thing. I don't know how old you are. I'm 50, so I'm all about
46.
Yeah, I'm 50, so it's just one of those things where I'm like, yes, if I'm all about solutions, and I feel like if somebody is trying to derail the efforts to get to a solution, then you might have to like freeze them out for a little bit, and society will kind of weed out the people who aren't contributed to the overall solution or the betterment of the community or what have you. That's because I just want to. I knew what you were doing because I was trying to do it earlier too. The same thing where it was just like, look, if we're trying to just come to a topic, decide whether or not the men can have preferences, and now we're talking about domestic violence and gaslighting each other, then we lose the point of the conversation, which to talk about, can men have preferences? So I just like to go to. I like to be succinct
so Dame,
and just keep everything going. What?
So just for you to understand what happened here, remember that too. It was not what he said. It was how he started. Both of y'all are acting like children. That's how we start.
That's what he said to y'all. Is that what you're telling me?
We were having a conversation. There was having a conversation, and somebody somebody said something children, and then you said both of y'all are acting like children.
Yes, I said that. I said y'all. No, I said y'all not.
And that's how we went there because I wasn't acting like.
I said what I said was that y'all not acting like, both of y'all not acting like men, right? Because men just go ahead and have, because men like for example, the two men below me, they disagree with me. I'm not gonna yell at them and get irate with them because they disagree. I'm just gonna have the dialogue because that's something that women do. Women yell at each other, right? But men, yes, men, we disagree, right? Heatedly. We can disagree heatedly, but we're showing people how to dialogue in the middle of a disagreement. Men are supposed to be the individuals that show other people how to disagree, right? So I'm saying when you begin to yell at him, he's not going to listen, and he believes that he has the upper hand because you're yelling at him, and he's being
no. Fantastic didn't yell. Fantastic was cooking them.
Let him finish.
You missed it, and respectfully, Humble Dad. Me and Fantastic will fight each other because we are debating Jordan versus Kobe.
Thank you.
Come on, the man will fight over anything. You can put the
PlayStation versus Xbox. We're talking about Marvel versus DC. Come on, that's passion, brother.
No, I said I didn't hear you yell. I said I didn't hear you yell at him. That's all I said. I
No,
didn't
I
hear you yell like
definitely
you
yelled
was
at that
yelling.
nigga. I definitely yelled at him because he was
Oh, I didn't
trying to
hear it.
cut
My
me
bad.
off.
My bad, humble
No,
dad.
it's
My
cool.
bad, humble dad. I didn't hear him yelling.
It's not even that. Look, I'll just say this to humble dad. Listen, brother. Every man's not the same, and you're not less of a man because you're more passionate about something or you're more aggressive. Okay, everybody's not Floyd Mayweather. Everybody's not Mike Tyson. Okay, but they both win fights. Okay, so this narrative or your thing of saying you're not men because you raise your voice to another man that's being disrespectful, I don't tolerate that, fam.
I didn't say
not me
raising. I
personally.
didn't say raising your voice. That's not.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. I'm
Okay,
talking
so what
about
about it was not about like men?
I'm saying when you're yelling, right, and you're trying to get, man, if you don't get out, you know, like that's not going to be.
So now
that's
we're
not going to
playing
be
semantics.
helpful. No, what I'm saying is that's not. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying the guy that listen, if y'all talking about Jordan, y'all have and whoever, you all have a rapport with one another that allows you to communicate in such a way that you're not going to be offended in the way that y'all talk. No different than when, like, if you watch Gilbert Arenas, like Gilbert Arenas and Nick Young yell at each other all the time, but they still cool, right? What I'm saying is a person that you don't have rapport with, you're not going to be able to talk in the same manner because you don't have the same rapport, is what I'm saying. So in this situation, they were not acting like men should act when they're trying to get their points across, because Fatty was yelling at him. He's not going to listen. First of all, already he's not listening because even though I'm late, I know that he's not listening.
Yelling at him not because of his opinion, but because
I
he was
know.
over talking everybody. But Dad, let me tell you what we do. Dad, I live in the fourth safest country in the planet. Let me tell you what we do. I'm on a basketball court and Fantastic is talking with me. I said, let me finish. Let me finish. I told you to let me finish. I will punch him. He will punch him back. And then when you intervene and says, both of y'all are not acting like men, I will punch you now. Because now you're interfering. What you did was pouring a gas into the fire. If me and another man are talking, and you are trying to kind of silence and coming in and saying both of you are not acting like men, now you are the aggressor. Because you are actually not the dirty, like you see the term dirty macking when a man is using another man to look like he's bigger than other people. If you are coming in and you're supposed to be the peacemaker, and instead of actually coming and saying shit like that, the first intervention you do is, you guys are not acting like men. What?
You realize when Ali tried to tell both of y'all to stop talking, y'all didn't listen to that.
Because Ali has a different Austin.
He didn't say not act like men though.
Ali is the nicest person
in
in motherfucking space, but I'm not.
Okay, so
I'm not. It's me. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'll punch you back.
Okay, cool. So what I'm saying is, though, does it make it less of not true in the way that y'all were communicating? Because I have an issue, like, for example, I have to deal with my anger issues, and I'm telling you from personal experience that yelling with a person that you don't really have rapport with is not going to be helpful.
Yep.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Then that means that I'm not acting like a man at that time. That is a true statement. If we're going to say he was acting feminine in the way that he was responding,
I thought masculine. I thought women like, but why have to jump so steep to the man? Why so steep of a jump though?
Because it's no different than saying. I'll tell you. Because there's only two ways to jump: a man and a woman. You know what I'm saying? Feminine, masculine, right? There's not really an in between type of thing, right? So when Miss Jada said he was acting feminine, y'all didn't say, well, no, he wasn't. Y'all agreed with that statement because of the mannerisms that he had, right? And when I say that they're not acting like men in the mannerisms in which they were communicating, that still was a true statement, no matter how you feel about it. Because if you disagree with a dude that is not, you don't have no rapport with, yelling is not going to help. And him being disingenuous is not going to help the conversation. That's what I'm saying.
So me being docile will help? Because you know what's funny, That? Because we tried. Let me actually tell you what happened, right? Ilkan sent me a message today, Fatty. We're going to let him finish to see if he continues the behavior.
Yeah.
And you know what he did? I fall back. He kept interrupting. And then when he got interrupted, he packed his bag and left. So it doesn't work either. If we're being harsh to him, is not going to stop. If we're being nice to him, we're being docile, and he's not going to stop. So no matter if you have a bad cop or a good cop, that shit doesn't matter. Sometimes
So
you need
how
a
is
soft approach.
so do you
Sometimes you
agree
need a
that
more
he was
egregious
being
approach.
feminine? Do you agree that he was being feminine?
I would, me and Ali have this conversation all the time. I didn't believe that he was being feminine, even though he had kind of feminine mannerisms. I believe that he was being performative. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so how does? But you gotta choose one. Like
No,
performative.
let me go with the performative. I rather pick the
Okay,
performative
so
because he
performative.
was
Okay,
streaming
cool.
for his people. I agree
Okay,
that if he wasn't streaming for his people, it would
and-
actually be more calm and
but
collected
did
because
not
I
say
saw
that
him
though.
before.
But
Yes,
Fatty, did not say that. I said it seems like he's performing. I said
yeah,
that.
but we know that.
Right.
But
And
he
so
told
I
us
said,
that
if he is performing, why give him so much attention if we literally know what his game plan is?
because we know his track record. Like that's what I
Okay.
said. Is people were Damien knows the show was about to be canceled. Nobody's here in time, all the
Okay.
time, every time. So we had this conversation. We know it's about for you to have the temperature of the room, and Damien is, in my opinion, the only one that is actually entitled to be upset. He kind of saw it flare it up. We started nicely and talking about stuff, talking about nappy hair and all these, talking about solutions.
I was
And
there with
then
that.
he started to say, men are abusers, men do this, and
I
men
was
do
here for
that.
that.
You see what I'm saying? So
But I was
it's
here for
not,
that. I'm saying
yeah,
it was listen, I was here for 30 minutes and I heard that conversation and I didn't say anything, right? And Dane was listening. That's why he said, man, let's see what somebody else has to say. Because we were listening. And so I didn't give my statement until like 20 to 30 minutes after I came on the show. So
yeah.
all I'm saying is that if we are going to say that he has a label, then when I give you a label, let's assess it, right? So if you told, because y'all just told me, y'all said, Humble Dad, like, I don't think what it is that you're saying is accurate. Well, what I would need to do is assess what it is that you said to
Yes.
see if there's any validity to what you're saying and process it before I just automatically say that I'm triggered by what you're saying, right? That is how we're supposed to dialogue. Like when you
Yes.
said I was virtue signaling, I'm like, I can't disagree or agree because I don't really know what you're referring to. And
I think
I'm willing to listen to see if there's a valid point. So when I looked it up, I say, okay, it's some truth to what he's saying.
it's a back and forth. So I'm gonna let I know what you're saying. I don't disagree with you in principle, just like Damien said, because I get a little bit older, so I don't want to fight as much, right? I kind of understand. But you know what I understand? I understand public. I say this all the time. Y'all are not going to La Pifas, okay? I don't care if it's crowd, I don't care if it's content creators. Y'all are not going to La Pifas. And what I mean by La Pifas was La Pif had the most banging, entertaining show in this motherfucking side of YouTube. And people convinced him to make conversations healthier and to please let's be more righteous and talk about solutions and talk about good things. And as soon as he started to do that, 3,000 people disappear and went into a place that is just messy and all that shit. That's a reality, right? So when I say Humble Dad, when I say you are not going to La Pifas, I'm not going to believe in what people want to hear because these people will tell you we want y'all to be nicer and to have good conversations and actually to do that. And then you ask him, what is your favorite content creator? Tommy, Kevin Samuels, Angry Man, Anton Daniels, like all the people that they actually will put on the totem pole or Mount Rushmore of people are people that are loud, are expressive, are not afraid of being critical, but sometimes play dirty. So I'm not going to listen in. I get that is a good advice in principle,
in theory.
I'm not lying, but I know these people because I was with them. I was with them on the chat throwing tomatoes at Kale and Kate. I was there. And then as soon as they disappear,
just for the record, though, Patty, I think you have me. I understand what you said. I was not on it just so I can move, so we can be.
Yes, we can move
on. Just so you know, I was on King Talk, and when it got to the point of where it was yelling, we began to come off. Like the older guys, like me, Ricky, Chicago Rilla, Trill, like we got off because it became that way. And we had a very large following during the time that I was on there. I was not on the Thursday show where it was very problematic. That's all I wanted to say.
Yes, sir. and I will never put it on you, but I'm just saying that once again, the same people that was doing constructive conversations or were claiming to want constructive conversations went ahead to do panels with Kay and Kayla, went ahead to go on Tonight Conversations, which probably is the most messy show overall when just people just
I
there to
understand
just
your premise.
laugh at the crowd. So it's
I
not you.
understand.
It's not you, but once again, I see what is working. I appreciate people like you and Jada, for example, because I understand there needs to be a kind of calm, safe place for people to talk and have an honest conversation. But we need Mr. Fantastics on this place.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
not what I was saying.
That's what we need both.
I'm cool with disagreeing, having arguments. What I was simply communicating was that it was a long conversation
Yes,
that
sir.
was literally in a circle, such as Damon said, and there was no reason to continue to give him the spotlight. I mean, you could have come back to him like y'all did. Let's hear what somebody else has to say about what he has to say, and then come back to him. But he spoke for a long time in what he was saying. I'm not telling you not to bring him on. I'm not telling you not to have him talk. I'm not telling you not to do. I'm not even telling you how to run your show. I'm just in the aspect of like, if you're gonna have guests, you want to also allow your guests to have some of the meat on the bone, if you will. That's all I was trying to communicate. Nothing other than that.
We met him today, and just for people to know, like this is just some shitty, like something. This is some shitty content creators. This is my opinion, because like, to try to tag everybody, send everybody their way, all that shit. So he left. Right? But he's still paying attention. And that's the thing. If you're going to do this shit, right? Why not just stay?
He's still streaming it? He's streaming it. And
he's mad because I changed the title.
Lame as hell.
I said if you want to go, let him go. Don't cater to his threats. That's all I was saying.
No,
you don't negotiate with terrorists. That's all I was saying.
It's fine, but that's the point. We are going to, and I'm not. It's the first time I actually mute people. We have a no mute policy on our shit. But either I mute you or I kick you, and I didn't do both. I'm trying to be as nice as possible because Ali is my brother. Ali has a way of running things. This man is the most nicest motherfucker. But hey, it's the I try to not disappoint him, but I'm not the type of person. I'm sorry. So maybe next time I'm going to actually go farther away because, in my opinion, this is not even like content creator etiquette for somebody that is preaching that we should do the right thing and all that shit, and then turn around to do this. I don't get it. But hey, let him have fun. Let's go to the super chats and then get to the main event.
Buckle up, everyone. It's time for some super chats.
Carl Anderson, thank you very much for the 5 untouchable memberships. I appreciate you, sir. Salute to you. Thank you.
I believe that there's multiple so-called black leaders who believe that they are untouchable.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Appreciate you, Carl, the sponsor of the show for now. Okay. Dark Lake, thank you very much for stopping by. He said, to pretend that the word nappy hasn't been used as a pejorative in Black America is disingenuous. That's ridiculous. He said that, she was trying to be nice. DJ Torch and Friends Live Empowerment Network, $2. It says public defender is wrong. Hey, maybe we were wrong. The lovely Valerie in the building saying hello, Fatty, with a $10. Hello, Valerie. I hope you're doing good. Him in the building saying salute, Fat Man Ali. Panel in the chat. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. We have Carl Anderson saying nothing. He gifted Ilkan Ali membership to the Untouchable Empire.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Thank you very much, Carl. The lovely Zarex came through with another membership for the Untouchable Empire.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Friends, we need 3 memberships to get to the goals today, and then we figure the hamburger fund. Okay. Let me see. Doris, she's in the building. Gifted 1 Ilkan Ali membership. Thank you very much, Doris. I appreciate it. And of course, Doris came to my side to give 1 membership for the Untouchable Empire.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Then we have Dre in the building. Gift is 5 untouchable memberships. Thank you very much, Dre. Always supporting us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I believe that there's multiple so-called Black leaders who believe that they are untouchable.
The untouchable empire, baby.
Thank you very much. We go to classy perspective with the $10. It says the woman with the long hair was more triggered than the cute woman with the short hair. The woman with the short hair seemed to be fine with his preference. That's what Damien was saying. It's like he wanted you, and now you fuck it up for yourself because other men are going to see it, and they say, "Oh, this is what I have to deal with." There's no need for them. Crisp is in the building and says, "Men are more violent than women, as it shows when women are in power position, dealing with the more vulnerable kids and born elderly, they commit more violence than proximity breeds violence. Most people that commit violence to you is not the stranger in the alley, is your auntie and uncle and daddy and mommy and sister and sibling and cousin and all that shit. Go ask Kanye West about that. Nobody covered in this space, but Kanye said that his 15-year-old cousin did shit to him. Nobody talk about it because kind of crazy, but it is what it is. Buggy, $5. If you don't let Jada Bell speak, as long as you let Public Duke talk, I'm going to. I see you, Buggy. Thank you very much. So I'm going to pass it to Jada first, friends. And we need 3 memberships to get to the goal. 20 subscribers to get to 8,000. Not 20, now 19. And we need $95 on the hamburger fund, but we are going to try to raise it later. Okay. So Jada, my question talking about Kevin Samuels and his legacy, right? Mm-hmm. Are relationships better after Kevin Samuels spread the gospel and said what he said?
Are relationships better? I don't know if relationships are better, but I definitely know that men are speaking out a lot more after Kevin Samuels. So that's my opinion. I don't know if relationships are better. Well, there's some women that woke up due to Kevin Samuels too, and listening to more men, content creators that are speaking the same way as Kevin Samuels did. But I think it brought awareness and light onto how toxic the feminist movement is, and just how women, the narcissistic women and everything. But that's my answer. I'm not sure if relationships got better though.
Damien, do you think relationships are better now after Kevin Samuels?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't know if they're necessarily better, but yeah, I think what happened with Kevin Samuels is his message, he never left like a successor. There wasn't nobody to say, okay, this person is somebody who rocked with him, who's going to carry on the message and kind of rock the way. But it's got a bunch of interlopers that jumped in there and tried to bastardize the message. So it was used by men who hate women to say, see, this is what we're talking about. Women are this, that, and the other. Then it was used by women who hate men and say, see, this is what we're talking about. They think we fat, ugly, and stupid or whatever. And men were saying, women were saying, hey, you know what? Men are going to cheat on us and beat us and all this kind of shit like that. And I think what it was there was nobody to really keep his message going. So a lot of people used it to separate couples as opposed to bring them together. Because I used to watch Kevin Samuels religiously, and I think his overall goal was to bring couples together. Because that's why he always used to tout that about, through my Facebook group, I've gotten this many marriages and this many engagements and stuff like that. So his underlying goal was to get couples together, and people have found a way to take his message, pervert it, and use it to create a bigger divide between men and women. So I think relationships have not gotten better since Kevin Samuels died.
Can I ask you a quick question? And shout out to Reese for being up. I appreciate you, Reese, for pulling up. Don't things have to get better before they get worse? No, don't think that's to get worse before they get better.
But they need to have a common goal for them to get better. The thing is, a lot of people are saying they don't have a common direction and say, okay, where are we trying to get? Most people are saying, don't get married, don't deal with women, don't deal with men. So the goal is not to have better communication, better relationships. It's to keep people apart. So they'll never get better. You got to be together and work together and let the bad happen in order for it to get better.
I actually, I don't agree with you. The best relationships work when one person is awake and the other one is asleep. When one person has power and the other person has no power. This is why, like, it's a father-son relationship. The relationship is clearly on the ends of somebody, and that person has the authority, as everything, right? What happened, in my opinion, was that he started to waking up men and women too, because women was like them. I didn't know I did that. The sign language and all those things, like men and women, a lot of times, and I think this happened with Kevin Samuels, was they've been through things in relationships, but they couldn't put the finger on it. They kind of felt it, felt something, but it couldn't exactly say exactly what they were doing that was bad. And then when he verbalizes it and says, you see, you are going to ask a woman, what did she do on the past relationships? And she's going to tell you 7 things that the other person did because she loved too much and she trusted too much and she needed to leave early. Like, he kind of like, oh, this is what my ex-girlfriend did to me. Oh, this is what I did. Like, he actually makes people think. So
I agree.
I would say that relationship will turn better because a lot of men don't want to be a stepping stone or a stepping, like, whatever for women. They don't want to be a workhorse. They don't want to just give their life away to the woman in front of them like they were raised, because this dating market is full of shit. So you see what I'm saying? Like,
people are taking a message of accountability and turning it into a message of blame. That's the thing. They're saying his whole thing was, I want everybody to be accountable. I want men to be accountable for becoming better men, but I want women to be more accountable to becoming better women. And I think what happened was somebody took it and said, see, Kevin said all this stuff, so this is what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. So this justifies our hate and distrust of men. And the same thing happened on the side. See, this is what Kevin was saying, that women, there wasn't the pontiff or the preacher to really spell it out to you and be like, no, this is what my message is saying. This is a message of being self-aware in order to get your best life, not blaming the other people. I never recalled him blaming anybody without saying, well, no, but without qualifying it with, if you are not self-aware.
No, he actually did.
If you're not self-aware.
No, but because he would like, for example, we're talking to men, he'll say pick a struggle, right? Can be short, fat, bald. Like, you get, like, you have to pick a struggle. If you have
self-aware.
But there's the thing, right? And even with people that are self-aware, like, there was some people that came to the show that, like, they were like mean girls. They were stuck, like, they knew what they were, right? They knew they couldn't qualify for certain men.
Some girls just want to fight.
Yeah. And I think he is. This is a reflection of the market. Like, you can ask for time, like, peace in times of war, and that's what is happening to relationships at this point. Is war. It's like, it's wartime. You don't have the luxury to go outside and just date like casually, or date not casually, but on a, I'm not going to be guarded, and I'm not going to be kind of looking around, because it's a minefield. You are going to get your leg blown up, for men and women, because women kind of being raised. And Boogie, you can go next, right? I say this all the time. I wish I get famous one day for this, right? We are raising men to do what's right, and we are raising women to do what's right for them. So what's happening is, for 29 years, these men are raising to do what's right for their family, for their future wife, for their kids, for society, for the military, for their country. And we are telling women, do what's right for you. All men want to fuck you. All men want to use you. Men are abusers. Men are this. Men are that. Protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself. So when you get them together at 29, these men being conditioned to think that this woman is his responsibility, and yes, she has the benefit of the doubt. She can't deny you sex. She can't have her mood swings during the period, postpartum depression, menopause, scream at you, all these, turn around and change her mind, while the man has to be there and just be a good leader and good Samaritan and take it. So I actually thank Kevin Samuels for waking up a lot of the population, because the first step to solve a problem is to admit that you have a problem. If this is going to make more alcoholics aware that they are alcoholics, hey, there's a part of life. But if I'm looking at Humble Dad, and Humble Dad is describing what an alcoholic is, and I'm like, God damn it, am I alcoholic? Some people will never look at the mirror and say, you know what? I need to solve this shit, because you can solve something that you are not aware that you have it. And most of these women, especially these women, for example, that are watching Public Offender, they know, they think that they are the best shit that happened since the motherfucking sliced bread. They do no wrong. It's the patriarchy. It's the black man. You don't have the right to talk about my hair and all that shit. While they're the meanest people in the motherfucking planet, just because they feel like it. So, get what you're saying? Kind of not agree. Go ahead, Bobby. You guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you guys remember the first thing most black women did when Kevin Samuels died? They celebrated his death. Like, that was crazy on national television. Fox saw, you remember those women on Fox saw? They celebrated his death. So for me, there is no way relationships are gonna get better anytime soon, because if you guys know, probably most of you know, Shahrazad Ali wrote a book years ago, decades ago, telling black women about relationships, and there was no social media, and they didn't listen to her. So for me, the only thing I see that Kevin Samuels did was to wake up men, black men, to tell them, hey, listen, you don't have to be shamed into becoming stepfathers. Because before you couldn't, before Kevin Samuels, men were not speaking up about, I don't want to be a stepfather. You just, even right now, you get shamed, but men are more open about what they can do and what they cannot do. Men are more confident about what they like. Men are more confident about what preferences they want in a woman. So until, like you said, Fadi, until we can teach the ladies what to expect from how to treat a man, because like you said, as men, we are taught how to treat women, but you never hear about what women are supposed to, how the women are supposed to treat men. And if you ask about how a woman is going to treat you, she calls you sassy. She calls you gay. In fact, some women on dating apps, in their bios, they have, if you listen to Kevin Samuels, swipe left. So the hate to this day, so many black women still hate Kevin Samuels, no matter how positive his message was. Even if he was trying to preach relationships, I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. And the reason why is because we have a generation raised by single moms, and if there are no fathers, because relationships are a skill. So if you're not seeing a father and a mom in the house when you're growing up as a kid, right, and you're not seeing that combination of two-parent household, you're not seeing the love. You're seeing them fighting. If you're lucky, you're going to see them fighting. That's the generational trauma and curses that we talk about. So until there's a generation where it's mostly, two-parent household to teach kids how to be in relationships, because relationships are a skill. Until we have that generation, the relationships are never going to be any better than they are right now. Because remember, women are making more money, and remember, the more money they make, they think the average guy who's a plumber is not good enough. Look at that K. Michelle. She was crying in front of a successful man. Even when she was begging black men to marry black women, she put the word successful black man. So the average guy, the plumber, the electrician, the teacher, the guy who carries the, driving trucks, buses, they don't consider that guy a good man. So until there's a generation of men in the household and women working together, and kids grow up to see that, it's going to grow a bigger divide between black men and black women. But shout out to Kevin Samuels. The only thing he did, he taught black men that now you can speak up. Now you can make a choice. You don't have to go work 80 hours to provide for kids that don't belong to you. You don't have to be shamed into doing it. If you're going to die alone, sure, die alone, but you don't have to die alone. You don't have to die for kids for some guy who's in jail.
And I would actually add something real quick before Rich goes. It's kind of funny that his biggest criticizers literally were repeating what he said. Like, for example, Kendra, right? Kendra G was adamant Kevin Samuels criticizer. just to turn around as soon as he died and literally ask the same questions, doing the same model and this like the same talking points, the same thing over and over again. Because once again, like first you hate, then you imitate. That's what happens. People are going to reject what you're pushing, and then once they kind of see, oh, so this is what he's trying to do now, they're going to replicate it. So it is what it is. Boogie, I think you have YouTube on the back. I think it's you. Let me. Yes, it's you. So I don't know. It seems like you have YouTube on the back, like some device or something like that. If not, that's why you have that probably a shitty iPhone. Fuck Apple. Reese, are relationships better now than they were before Kevin Samuels?
No.
Not
Why?
at all.
Although I don't think his intentions were for things to turn out this way, what it has morphed into, you know, is what might be $1 billion industry. Men versus women, right? And on these apps, and the money that's being poured into it might be near a B. Maybe that's something somebody can research. I brought that up to say that I think a lot of people are into this not to try to repair things, but to line their pockets because they saw what he was doing, right? And so, you know, when you do something bad, nothing good is going to come out of it. That's just how things work. You know what I mean? And now he's been gone a few years now. I'm starting to hear, I take 4 public vehicles to get to work, one direction. That's 8 a day to get to work. So I'm around a lot of people that are always on their cell phones arguing and screaming at someone else. And I'm literally hearing people saying to each other what would be categorized as talking points, right? They're not talking points, they're just facts, things that happen, right? They're using Kevin Samuels' talking points as if like they were listening to him the day before. And these are just random people sitting on the bus next to me. So the buzz from the internet came from real life, and it's a circle. It went to the internet, then it went back to real life, and it keeps going around and around, and no one's getting better from it. We're just acknowledging each other's faults over and over and over again, reciting the same old bars, using the same old fancy-ass psychology words. I got a long list of them right here that I hate. You know what I mean? And I don't think anything's better. I see more fights and arguments and divorce and bullshit on panels than ever before.
So just because you see, do you think is worse? Because, for example, you probably now see way more violence than you saw ever in history because you have social media. You can know that India and Pakistan are fighting, but that doesn't mean the world is not the safest that it was ever in the history of mankind, right? So just because it sees something more, that doesn't mean that is happening more. We just have more tools to actually document it because these people were fighting on the barber shop. They were fighting on the nail salon. They were fighting on events where you put men and women. Like this was happening way before them. I actually remember before I was watching Kevin Samuels, Cruise season had like one thing, it was called Battle of Sexes, where there was the most, they put 5 women on the room, 5 men on the room, and they would go at each other, and it was fun. It was interesting because it was conversation that we usually don't see in public, but we see kind of eating on the public sphere. So my question to you will be this, Reese, and then Humble Dad and Jada can go next. Is the red pill content helping men become better or just more beta?
I think it's doing a little bit of both.
I
think it's doing a little bit of both. Yeah, because some of it is corrupt.
Can you give me a majority minority type of situation? Like, would you, if you had to put on a scale, would you think that is producing more men that need to be better and understand that, or more men that are better and now they are acting accordingly?
I think the men that have gotten wind of this have become more cautious and careful, and that might manifest into something good later on down the line. Like when something happens, right, big like this, you got to wait 5-10 years to see what the outcome of it will be to really judge it. It's not really that old yet. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't been gone that long, but it looks like it's on the up. You know what I mean? Things because if you look at the younger generation, right? No one on the panel has seen a pregnant teen in 3 years. So they're listening. They're not making any more humans like the rest of the generations back to the beginning have done. They're doing something new. There's no new babies, no goddamn where. If they are, they're from somebody 35 or over. So somebody's listening to this BS and they're scared. And maybe they're trying to, you know.
But is that us or feminism? Because you are actually right. For the first time, there's more women that are 40 and up having kids than teens.
There are no pregnant teens in the world right now.
Yes. So the question on the West.
Barely.
So the question will be, no, isn't that feminism? Like, woman, live your life, girl, and go to college, girl, and pursue your career, girl. Is that their feminism?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said yes. That's great.
That has feminism stinking all over it. But yes, it's a new world, man. There's nothing we can do about it. Crying, it's not going back to the old way. So fuck all that. That's over. This is the way women are going to be moving forward until somebody flips all of this shit. So you got to learn how to deal with it. And we got to learn together how to make it work, because these things are not going to change. These talking points ain't going nowhere. The women are not going to change. Women are warriors. The more you talk, the harder they're going to be. So we got to figure out how to make all this shit work together. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a long process.
Guys, can I say something, a statement?
Yes, you and then Embleded. Go ahead.
Just to add to Reese, I think that women have to lose men in order to value them, because I like really like when I see women that come to me for counseling and stuff, when it finally snaps for them or clicks for them to come get help, it's when they lost their man. And it just seems like that's when women do the real switch to actually become more feminine and softer for their man. And so I always tell men, like, you can't be afraid of losing your woman or sometimes walking out on her, because, you know, sometimes that's the best thing you can do. And then I think if we went back to a more like how they're talking about, we might go into World War III, I think that would put a reset back into things if we were back into survival mode, where women actually saw the value of men and appreciated them and understand, like, you know, we're you know, we count on them, we need them. So that's my thought. And
you know what I believe, Jada?
I disagree.
Oh, go ahead.
Disagree.
I disagree when you said that women have to fast lose men to value them. There's been plenty of divorces. There's been plenty of breakups. So unless you're saying a specific type of guy, you know, so a woman has to lose a certain type of guy. Let's say she dates a millionaire. If she loses him, you know, how many millionaires are there? But if she loses Boogie, she's going to go to Humble Dad, she's going to go to Fadi, and, you know, we're all going to take out on dates. It's going to be the same cycle. So she will never really feel like she lost anything. She has to lose a certain type of guy. And then other men shouldn't be willing to come and clean up. For example, if I have a baby mama, she has my kids, but then Fadi is willing to come take care of her kid because, you know, a strong man can play stepdad. When is she ever gonna feel the consequences? So it has to be a certain type of guy. Even then, if she can bag a millionaire, probably other millionaires may want her as well. So the cycle keeps going.
I agree. I also think that the women are they listen to whoever they're around, because if that happens and they were to lose a guy, and the people that they're around or the community they're around, if they're in church or just the women are married or whatever, they're going to get more advice of like how to fix things or to work on themselves, versus women that just flock to going to the club, or their girls are like, you deserve better. They're very easy to be swayed with their emotions. So I've also recognized that too.
Reese, what were you disagreeing before that goes? You don't remember?
No, I wasn't going to disagree. But she mentioned something about wartime and reset and all that. I think by default, we're going to cause some type of reset or flip, because the way the direction mankind is going, it's like down at a rapid rate. We're getting worse and worse at a more rapid rate. Like, I'm real old, so I remember back in the 70s where I was like kind of observing the decline. I noticed this as a young person. The decline, everyone, health and everything else about being alive was declining, but it was progressive. And then as I got older, when I got to my 40s, I'm seeing things get worse, much, much worse, like every year. The news now is so ridiculous. Like something really savage could happen today that would have been news for an entire year 30 years ago. And 2 days later, we don't even think about it anymore. That kind of insensitiveness and carelessness and the hatred that we show each other now and next level disrespect. If it keeps up at this rate, there's going to be some type of natural reset. We're all connected to everything around us and each other. You know what I'm saying? We got to be real careful now. And I'm not trying to be, this is no conspiracy stuff like Y2K and the Bible and end days and all that bullshit. Something really bad is about to happen. And I can feel it.
Humble Dad, do you think red pill is creating more men that are bitter or men that are becoming better?
Man, I was going to respond to the original statement about
you can respond to that.
Relationships, and then I can try to come back to that point. I think in my thought process and what I've seen, I would say that Kevin Samuels helped. I would say he ruined relationships in a good way. So, for example, I would say that he helped married women, but he hurt relationships as it relates to the dating market. So, for example, I'll just give having conversations with single women, they really hated Kevin Samuels, especially if they had a bad relationship episodes in their life. And women, when I converse with them that were not married, typically had a hard time understanding what he was trying to communicate in the way of what it is that they were asking for and if it was something that they could attain. But in a marriage, I would say a lot of women, once they hear what Kevin Samuels is saying that the man is trying to communicate without him being able to communicate it, that they were more open to listening to what he had to say. And they would be able to see a difference in when their posture changed towards their husband. But part of what Kevin Samuels said for women that were single, he would tell men and women, you need to go ahead and have sex before marriage. Or he would say it like this, right? He would say, ma'am, you're trying to withhold sex from this dude and you've already had sex, so why would he want to date you? So now men saying, listen, if you're not having sex with me prior to marriage, then it's a no-go, right? And so now you have this disconnect in how relationships prior to marriage are taking place. So I believe that he did a solid job in explaining to the woman as it relates to who she was inside of a marriage, but not so much what he should have done to men to educate men on what they need to do before they get married. So I think he ruined marriage. He ruined relationships, but he ruined them in a good way. That's my perspective.
Anyone disagrees with anything that he said? If not, we're going to go to the last question and we close it out. Okay, perfect. And once again, thank you very much, Mr. Fantastic, for getting us through the membership goals. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the 5 members. And thank you very much, Tony Golden, for the last membership. We have 18. So thank you very much, fellas. I appreciate you. Thank you. Now, we need
I
to
had a
take
quick
care.
question for Amber Dad.
Totally fine. We need to take care of the hamburger fund, friends. Okay, it's fully empty. $5 via Cash App by Melanin. So we need $95 via Cash App or PayPal. Okay.
Hey, baby, if you're feeling a fatty, hit that like, smash subscribe, and bless the Cash App at $Team Fatty 8.
I think this show was at least entertaining. There's the word. There's the at least right. Get the second part of the camera. Okay. So once again, go ahead, Boogie. What's the question that
Can you hear me? Remember that I just had a question. You said he ruined men who are not married yet. So what do you think? You said he told men to, you know, to request sex from women prior to marriage. But in your opinion, do you think it works that a woman has 3 kids? She has never been married, but then she switches up. She's like, okay, now I'm a, you know, born again virgin. The next guy who's gonna play stepfather has to marry me first, and then we can get intimate. What do you think about that? Do you think it works? Do you think that's the way? And how do you think men should approach that?
I mean, I think and listen, I have had sex before marriage. So, but I also understand what it looks like when you don't have sex before marriage, because I have friends that have talked about it and how it looks, right? And what it does to the dating aspect and how men think and how women think. So after it is done prior to. So what I'm saying is, to answer your question, a woman, if she decides that she doesn't want to have sex before marriage and she has 3 children, it does not take it. It should not be the reason why a guy decides not to date her. You see what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, because that would mean that you don't believe that he could, since you're saying that she can't change, then the man can't change either, right? If he has a particular lifestyle, if he's promiscuous, then he should continue being promiscuous, and then that this particular lady should also be a part of his promiscuity, you know, because altogether you're still going to be talking about her at the end of the day. Like, look, she gave it up, man. So what it is that you're wanting from her is not what it is that you are providing to her. So I think that it's okay for her to, for men or women, to be like, listen, I'm not going to have sex before marriage because I know what that's going to do to the dynamics of the relationship.
And do you think then, because I think most guys who are marriage minded, because it's a relationship, you give something, you receive something. I mean, we're gonna be honest. You're expecting something when you give something in a relationship, right? It's a give and take thing. And like I said, it's a skill. I learned that marriage relationships, it's a skill. Most of us grew up thinking it's all love and, you know, Disney and all that BS, but it's a skill. It's just like a business relationship. So if a woman who has 3 kids says, hey, listen, no sex before marriage, do you think it's fair for a man who also wants marriage to say, okay, I'm not paying for dates, I'm not paying for everything. You pay your own thing when we hang out, I'm going to pay my own thing. And then after marriage, you can start to take on the provider role. Do you think that's a fair deal? Do you think most women would accept that? Or do you think...
It doesn't matter if they accept it or not. I think that's a fair deal. I believe that because of how the dynamics are now, how it's set up to find somebody, I believe that if you're trying to get to know somebody, sex is going to mess that up, because it is literally for, and this is in a religion, right? That it is for people that are married. It's not just in Christianity. It's in Islam. It's in Muslim. It's in Islam. It's in Buddhist. It's in whatever. Okay, that they don't want you to have sex before marriage because of that particular reason. Now, if she's already done that, more than likely he has already done that as well, right? And so what I'm saying is that they should go Dutch on everything in how it works right now. I think that the woman should pay for it. I mean, this is crazy. Me and my daughter was just talking about that. We went on a daddy-daughter date, and she's 16, and she was talking about it as well. Like, she said, you know, I can pay for what I'm going to pay for. He can pay for what he's going to pay for. And then as we move towards being married, then you can start joining things as it relates to finances and things of that nature once it's close to I guess the wedding day. So to answer your question, yes, I believe that the Dutch should happen more times than not. The second part of your question is, will women go for it? It doesn't matter if they're going to go for it or not. It goes back to what Ms. J said. She wasn't saying men to just fall off the planet. She was saying that women need to see that that men have a standard and women got to follow the standard.
Okay, but I don't think you know, because one way men are trying to, like, to Jada's point, one way men, especially in America, are leaving women is by getting on the plane. But we have seen what women call those type of guys. So for me, and I'd love Jada to tell me if that's a fair deal. Okay, no sex before marriage. Sure, I respect your preference. I'm not paying for anything until marriage. But we know, at least in my opinion, most women are gonna call you broke. They're gonna call you dusty. They're gonna say,
Why does that matter? Why does
it matters because
should the man should the and sorry Boogie, should the woman be understandable about man situation? Meaning, if your daughter meets a man at 29 and he says, "I'm broke, I don't have money, I don't like, I'm trying to build just like you, I'm trying like," would you tell your daughter to just bypass that and say it is what it is, we're going to do it together? Or you're going to tell her, no, you are 29, you should have your shit together. It is not I'm not going to give my daughter and to a man that is still struggling to try to get something. Like, do we do the same thing? Because what it sounds like it is,
I don't think that
I have to bypass that this woman, the fact that this woman be fucking everybody or fucking at least some people without no expectation, no nothing, glass of water and a towel, and all of a sudden she comes to me either with one kid, no kid, or with the promiscuous past, and now she has the right to wait and make me work for it, and I need to put a ring on her. So my question will just be this, so I can synthesize it, right? Should we, the same way that women are ruthless when it comes to our inadequacies, should we be ruthless when it comes to their inadequacies? Meaning, if you're fucking before, I'm not going to wait for you to just put the ring on. I will try to get it because that's what you've been doing. Like, is that fair and bold?
Well, I think if you're trying to, I don't think that's fair if we're going with fairness, because men and women don't operate in the same way. Like, I don't understand how we put in, well, she does this, so he does this. Well, the man is the leader. Oh, right. And so the man being the leader should dictate how it goes. Right. So if you're saying, well, because most of y'all know that if a woman has 3 kids, that men are targeting her for sex, not marriage. Right. So
There's a lot of men in the market that are very okay with taking care of kids. We see every day woman cooking. Yes, we do. There's an internet talking point. All of the women with kids on ours, all the women with kids in our space and dead, that they have one kid, 2 kids from previous relationships, they can marry tomorrow if they actually want to pick the man they want. This is clearly a talking point. If you are attractive enough, and sometimes even if you're not, there's always men trying to.
These little bitty situations that y'all trying to bring up, or not. Can we just deal with reality for a moment? Yes, sir. I'm gonna finish this real quick, and then you can go. No worries at all. Right? Okay. I think that most guys, that if you're talking about being a marriage-minded guy, you look at being married differently than a dude that just wants to be single and be able to smash a woman. Okay. So if the woman says to you, listen, I'm not trying to have sex before marriage, and he's interested in her, and she has 3 kids, we would have to talk to him about why would he want to be with a woman that has 3 kids if he has none. Right. Okay. So that's a totally different dynamic. This is what people do on these shows. Like, y'all don't deal in reality. Now, a guy that's marriage minded wants a woman that is, once again, that has 3 children. He is going to, and he's married, he's going to be okay. He should be okay with that. She doesn't want to have sex before marriage. And she should be okay that he says, listen, I'm not going to pay for anything until we get to that particular point. That just makes sense. Because otherwise, if she is saying, no, you need to pay for all of this stuff, you need to pay for these dates, you need to help me with my kids, but there is no reciprocation in some facet, then you have a whole different dynamic. And that is why, or one of the reasons why, the relationship situation is where Kevin Samuels messed it up for the majority of men. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, what's called it? I, for the most part, I agree with pretty much everything you said. The one thing I would add to it is that you know, it's okay on both ends. It's okay for a woman to say, I've got 3 kids, I'm not having sex before marriage, but she needs to change. She needs to reevaluate the type of men who she is approaching. She needs to be in circles where that is a normal thing for the most part. If you're going to be, if you're not having sex for marriage because you found God or whatever, you need to go with religious, righteous men like who have those same type of values of no premarital sex and stuff like that. You can't. I think what happens is you go with the guy, the regular guy, and try to pull him into your belief system, into your world. Be like, yeah, I know you out there before me, you was just slanging and banging all over town, but if you want to be with me, you got to like you got to like be a monk or whatever. That's when it's never going to work, because that dude's going to feel like, dude, why would I do that? It's like, that's when you're going to have that. You've been giving it all over time, and I'm the one who's got to wait. You need to reevaluate the men that you're after. You can't go after the same type of men that you were going after, because they're going to have those expectations. Just like the same thing with like what Boogie was saying. If a guy says, I'm not going to pay for that, I think you should pay for the woman that you date. And I can understand not doing that for the kids, because you have no commitment or anything like that. But if you're courting a woman and dating her, just treat it like you would date anybody else, with the understanding that you're not going to get sex. And if you don't want to do that, don't date a woman who's saying you're not getting none. Don't sit there and I think that's where people mess up. They try to pull people into their world instead that who aren't in the same hype they on. They're like, okay, if you want a woman who's gonna give it up because got 3 kids but still gonna give it up or whatever, you cool with being a stepdad, only date those women. But the minute the woman say, I'm not giving it up until marriage, stop dating her. If you know you're not that type of guy who can be like, what's called, but what happens is dude thinks, oh my God, this is my last chance of romance, whatever. So they get desperate and they start faking the funk and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I respect your religious belief. I respect this about you. I respect the growth that you've made and blah, blah, blah. And then 2 months in there, he's like, man, you need to get on these balls.
I actually don't think there's a problem. You know what is the problem, Damien? Is that we are telling women to punch as hard as they can while we're still pulling punches. If you are not going to give me sex while you gave those 13 guys sex, I'm not giving you no money. Nothing. No, Damien, 1 second, Damien. No, but Damien, that's the point. If I come, and number two, sorry for using your daughter as example, but you said that you were talking to her, right? If her daughter came to Humble Dad and says, hey, Dad, I'm dating this guy that says he was the biggest trick. He was spending on woman crazy, woman that was nothing to him, taking to Rio, giving them gifts, showering with money, cars, houses, and all that. And this man said, hey, lady, this is my past. I want to marry you, but I won't pay a dime. I'm not paying for dates. I'm not paying for nothing until you marry me. Humble Dad will look at his daughter and say, this man is crazy.
I would go to my daughter and say, you missed your window. Go to somebody who's not like that.
No, Damien, don't move the conversation. It will be, you are crazy. You are courting my daughter. You have to invest in her for her to see if you're actually a real man, a man that is going to take care of her, because it's a terrible precedent. You give all this money to all these women that are nothing to her, and my daughter is your future wife, and you can even pay a date. That will be insane, right? Because men have to qualify to the woman that are in front of them. So in my opinion, that's the version of a woman fucking everybody, and then all of a sudden saying, I only will have sex with you if you put a ring on me. In my opinion, that's terrorism.
I think that's interesting that individuals want to say that sex, giving your body away, is the same thing as giving your money away. That's not the same. That's not the same thing.
Yes. Which one do women value more, money or which one do value more, woman, money or sex?
Say it again.
What does a woman value more, giving her body away or $1 million?
That matters not. What we know is what we know. The reason why I'm saying that doesn't matter is because your body. It doesn't matter what she thinks. Your body is more valuable than money.
Then $1 million. What if you ask this? No. What if I go to a woman and I say this? Hey, you are going to have sex with 10 men on the next 10 years, or you're going to get $1 million. Which one do you think woman will actually choose?
That's what I'm saying. If she
they value money more than they value their body.
That's not a good comparison.
No,
that's like saying if you ask, I think a better one would be like if you go to 100 women and say, okay, 100 women, I give you $1 million for one night of sex with you. Are you trying to say the vast majority of women to be like, sure, or the vast majority to be like,
No.
women be like, no?
What I'm saying is that women don't value their body at all because they give it away for free. Women value money because their future husband has to have these financials in check for them to actually stop being on the street. So if you don't value your body, why should I? I value my money. I shouldn't give it to you if you are literally giving yourself away. And this is most women. Shout out to the women that are not fucking casually and not having kids before marriage and all that. If you don't value your body, why should I? I shouldn't value your body. That's your problem.
That makes no sense.
How?
That makes no sense. Like, you're telling me that if somebody else, like if the right thing to do is the right thing to do, if they're not doing it, then I should not do it also. Like, you should value people's body.
Yes. Remember,
regardless if it's yours or not.
Hey,
right? So for let me explain what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is that money and your body are not the same thing, right? Your body is the most valuable thing that you have, and you should protect it at all costs. You're going to lose money, you're going to gain money. You only have one life, okay? So your life is more valuable than anything else, and that's connected to your time as well. So what I'm saying is that it's not a really good correlation when men try to be out here saying, listen, if you don't give me sex, then I'm not gonna give you my money. Well, cool. And I'm with Dane. Let's date where you need to be, right? If that's date where it fish in the pond that you're gonna catch the right fish in. Don't fish in this pond over here where you already know what it is that you want is not there. So that says, again, if the woman says, I don't want to have sex before marriage, and she has 10 kids, you need to be like, listen, you're not for me because I want a woman that puts out. No, which is crazy too, because men should know that dick discipline is needed, right? Because we make bad decisions when we don't have it. So if this is why it's crazy, it is crazy that women focus on money and men focus on sex. And it's the downfall of the reason why relationships don't work. Because I would say Dame is married. I would say I think based on the ring, right?
Okay, married. Yes,
right. And I'm married as well.
Yes,
being single mindset is different than being a marriage mindset because we look at it as a we thing. Single people typically in terms of I. Why can I get this if you got that? Right. Whereas what you need to be understanding is that I'm cool with not having sex before marriage because I'm going to learn a whole bunch about you that has nothing to do with the physical. And you're going to be able to be intimate in other ways, right? And that's how you be able to build a actual true connection with someone. When you bring sex into this, it's scientifically proven, bro. If you bring sex into the situation, your mind is not the same. Guys would they say they would have it to where, okay, well, I've had sex with her, now I've conquered I've conquered her, so to speak. Woman has sex with the dude, now she feels entitled to even pursue him more. So it has disconnected in the aspect of what sex is designed for, as well as what money is designed for.
That's fair, but you are saying things that women don't believe. Let me give you an example. Should women treat broke men like they treat highly achievable, like financially superb men? Should women treat men? No. It's just a question so I can see your train of thoughts, right? Should women, because this is the oldest game in humanity.
Yes,
women
they should treat them the same.
Women use sex to get money, and men use money and power to get sex. This has been the game since the beginning of time. Most women only are cuffing men because they don't have resources. Because you know what these women with resources do? They don't marry them. They just date them kind of casually, might have kids. But Rihanna is not marrying WhatsApp Rocky. Oprah is not Mary Stedman. These women that are highly successful beyond belief, they're not looking for marriage as something of necessity.
They're the outliers. The vast majority are looking to get married.
But most of these women will do exactly the same. Because if you post something on Shade Room and there's a post between Rihanna and ASAP Rocky, if the headline is Rihanna about to date ASAP Rocky with no prenup, all the woman, oh my God, I can't believe you're dating him. I can't believe you're marrying him. You're stupid. Don't do it. If a man is just dating a woman and he's not marrying her, oh, see, Diddy playing with Casey 10 years and he still didn't propose. Women know what it's about. They want the resources. They want the security. They want the marriage. They want the ring because that comes with certain things. But my question to Humble Dad is this. Not the question. It's a statement. I'm going to do a statement. If women don't treat a broke man like they treat a millionaire, why should I treat a woman with 20 bodies the same way I would treat a virgin?
What do you mean? Can you explain to me how does a woman
will see Damien? Also explaining, a woman will see Damien walking around the street and she will pay him no mind. And then when Damien makes it and he's a famous YouTuber getting $1 million per year, she can't even see that. Right? She doesn't treat the same person. Tupac said this. Last year, I was in the nightclub, couldn't get nobody to dance with me, no hollers, no nothing, and now I'm on the same place, and this woman can stand be next to me. They're screaming and hollering because now I'm famous, I have clout, I have money, right? If women treat men like shit when they broke, and they treat him like kings when they have a tremendous amount of money, why should I treat a woman with 10 bodies, 20 bodies, 30 bodies, which is the average woman, how I would treat a virgin? Why should I treat her like that? Because I would treat a virgin with respect. Actually, I will even give it further than that. If you are a woman and you got married with a man and you come to me and say, hey, Fatty, I only have sex with my ex-husband, so I will ask you if you really want me to wait until marriage, I would say that sounds reasonable. You only fuck men while you are in a committed relationship and that marriage, so I like you enough, I'm going to do that. Why should I treat this woman with 10, 20, 30 bodies? Why should I treat him just like a virgin or a woman that has very few bodies? Why should I do that?
It's a great question. You want to go, Dame? You want me to?
Yeah, let me go. Because we've had this question before.
And by the way, shout out to Twisted Pup. I appreciate you, brother. $30 is the sponsor of the show. We are $55 from the goal. Go ahead, Damien. You got this.
I think it was on your show that I've actually said this before. It was like, I think what's happened is it's not the, I think it isn't the past that makes the woman. I think you guys have it that it is. I feel like the behavior that they're exhibiting and where their head is at right now was what makes the woman. If a woman was promiscuous in her 20s, 30s, she got 15, 20 bodies, whatever, but she spent the last 10 years working on herself. She found religion. She really started making those significant changes to change her to where she separated herself from people, the lifestyle that promotes that kind of stuff. And you can look at her and be like, man, I couldn't even see you dancing on the table or whatever like that. Judge her by the person that she is. So yes, you should still give her that same grace of somebody that's a virgin if the current behavior matches what she's trying to put out there and the effort that she put in to get there was significant enough up to your. Some people will say.
Now we talking. Now we talking. Tio, $10. Shout out to my brother Tio. Change it to the man coming back from being gay when it comes to change. So we're going to do the same scenario. This man was
being gay is a biological. I think you're born gay. You're not born promiscuous.
Both of them are sexual activities. We forgive lesbian woman all the time. Woman that said I had my past, I had a girlfriend in high school, and we forgive them. So sex is sex. Sex is not valuable. We're going to make this situation, and you and Amal that can answer that. Since you guys agree with that. I know a man, he was 21 years old, he was confused, he went to college, he sucked some dick here and there, and now I am delivered. I am woman. For 10 years, he is delivered, he changed, he's not engaging with those people. Would you tell your daughter to marry that man and forgive his past? Because this man clearly change. Would you do that, Damien?
Like my advice would be no, because and I'm gonna tell you why. Because promiscuity is not a biological. You're not biologically born promiscuous. You, as sexual attraction who you're attracted to is biological. I think you're born that way. Some people who are religious say you're not. I think you are born gay or straight or what have you. So if she says, he was like, yeah, I was heavy into like the homosexual lifestyle, but I've decided for whatever reason that I want a different type of lifestyle, I'd have to say, you know, that's something that's not necessarily something you could give up. Being promiscuous because you are in a lifestyle is not something that's biological. Men, perhaps, you know, we're
so
biologically
once the
non-monogamy.
hoe is not always a hoe. She can change, but once gay,
I've seen it.
always gay forever. She can change. He can change. Just throw him away.
Can I have a question? Can I have a question? I think this is
it's just one more. Would you give your advice? Would you give your same advice to your son if he was a woman? She had the girlfriend. She had the girlfriend in high school. She said it was my girlfriend. I was in love. I'm 31 now. This was when I was 17, 18. I'm not gay anymore. Would you say, hey, bro, hey, son, throw this wonderful woman that cooks, cleans, care for you, does everything because she was gay in high school?
I would say no, right? I would say let me explain because I said
I want the answer of both, and then you guys can explain. So both, would you guys tell him to date her or
what I said? Remember what I said earlier with the lady? I said if a guy is trying to date a woman that has 3 kids and he doesn't, I would ask him why would he want to do that? I said that in this conversation. So it doesn't change when I roll over to say, okay, this guy used to be gay, now he's straight. I was like, why would you want to date this dude or marry him? That's it then. So my mind doesn't change.
What about a woman? What if he's a woman? What if he's a woman is your son? This woman, your dad comes to you and says, hey, dad, I have this woman. This woman is awesome. Cooks, cleans, supports me, knows me. Since I was dead, nothing like they've been dating for her. I'm trying to see if I can marry her or not. But there's a problem. Like she says that she was homosexual when she was 19. She had a girlfriend. They split. She doesn't talk about it. She never did more things. Would you advise him to marry her or to leave her because her homosexual past matters?
When I say leave her, I just told you I would ask more questions, right?
I already told you. She's a good woman. She's a great woman. She never did it again.
Then I would say, to me, I would say not necessarily, right? Mine's going to be consistent. I'm saying, but this is what I want the people to understand. I think that what's interesting about your question, Fatty, is that when we were early in the conversation, you said that you don't believe in equality, but all your examples premise on equality.
No. I believe some things are equal, some things are not. No. If I say
women are not equal, but in our conversations, you're like, well, if a woman does that, then why can a man do it? That's what you've been asking. And
because you are strong man in my position.
Yeah, that's not.
I believe that men and women should have human rights. Men and women should have the right to education. Men and women should have the right to vote. Men and women should have the right to drive. Men and women should have the right to be presidents. But I will tell you, if a man punches a woman square in the jaw, and a woman punches a man square in the jaw, even though both are abused and both of them, I want them to be persecuted to the full extent of the law. I don't believe your son should be crying.
I got you. But you do believe that men have different preferences than women, though, right? A man cannot have the same
preference is for her to be a virgin or close to it. No, you are actually walking into my point. We are different. I don't want you to be tall. I don't want you to be strong. I don't want you to have a bunch of money. I want you to not be a hoe. So if you can come to the table and you were a hoe, and I can come to the table and I have money, even though I have no money or I'm broke or whatever, you should judge me for what you want from me, and I should judge you for what I want from you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We are telling women to be ruthless on their dating strategy. Don't have sex with men. Make sure you protect yourself. While we're telling men, Yeah, you have to court her. Yeah, you have to invest in her to show that you really cared about her. Yeah, you should. No. So
I didn't say that.
Yeah, men are not telling women not to
I
have
didn't
sex
say
with
that.
men.
literally, the 1
I
second.
didn't say that.
1
I
second.
said that I literally said that if you're going to be courting, I literally said in this day and age, it should go Dutch. I said that.
No. But I flip it. I said I get no sex, you get no money. You
And
pay
I
for
said I
those
agree
shit.
with that.
No. You are saying Dutch. Dutch is middle, right?
No, Dutch means you pay,
I'll
and I
pronounce.
pay for mine.
Okay, that's perfect. So this is what we are talking about, right?
Yeah.
The similar to Dutch is I get blowjobs and hand jobs instead of actually the full blown thing. That's literally the definition. Sometimes I pay, sometimes you pay. I'm still spending my money.
Okay,
That should be.
So let me
You
be
are
more
going.
specific. Let me be more specific. What I said was when it's not a you pay sometimes, I pay another time. No, it is okay. I'm going to pay for mine. Man is going to pay for his, and woman is
Yes.
going to pay for hers until there comes to a point of where y'all are going to, there's an engagement and y'all moving towards marriage. That's what my position is. That will be helpful in this day and age because the way that it's doing now is not beneficial to helping people get towards marriage, which is the solution for a lot of the problems that we have.
I agree. So we're going to go 50-50. And sorry
Yes.
for being vulgar, but I have to say it. Sometimes you give me a hand job, sometimes I finger you, right? Because you get pleasure to women like sex as much as men. Women are not protecting their body as much as men to be. They are doing the same shit. These
Bro.
dating market that we have right now, women will be offended if they like a man and a man doesn't want to fuck them. They will call them gay. I literally was watching Lucky 2 days ago. No, I'm okay. We are familiar to Lucky, right? Shout out to Lucky. She's doing a morning show. Go ahead and support her. Lucky was saying this: if a man flies me out, I'm not going to be flew out by any man. I'm going to be flew out by a man that already has a rapport with me. We kind of have a romantic relation going on and all that. But if a man flies me out and he's not going to fuck me, man, say mom will be offended. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, this is modern woman. A woman wants to have sex as much as you want to have sex because that's what they've been doing from 15 probably to 30. So my question about that will be this, right? Think about it. Why should this is Mama Dad. Can we agree that this is most women?
Yes.
So why would at 30 years old all of a sudden listen to a woman trying to protect her body from me, her future husband, when you never did that shit? You actually got offended when men didn't want to fuck you. Most men are being called gay for not wanting to fuck a woman that want to fuck them. So why should I value your body more than you love like you value your body?
Like Dame said, don't deal with the woman that you don't want to deal with. Don't try to get her to like you upset at her for not wanting to have sex with you, and she's changed her mind. Like, just go to the woman that is cool with you having sex with her. Like, why is it that it matters that, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does it matter? The thing, if you want a solution, listen, I guarantee you that if you're based upon the sex, it's not going to determine if y'all have a good marriage or not.
Oh, it will.
No, not based upon the sex.
You think not? So if my woman stops giving,
determine
so let's talk about it. If there's an epidemic of dead bedrooms, married men complaining in mass that women, when they go through their lives, ups and flows, kids, all that, there's a period of time that they're denying sex to their man. That's what it is. Do you think
to marriage?
No, talking about after they married a while.
And that's what we're talking about. I need to know if I'm sexually compatible with you because a lot of
that's not how
that. You know how many women I thought he was.
No, bro. Listen, since the beginning of time, like, listen, there is nowhere that you can point to what you're saying is accurate. And even if you go to Muslim countries, sex before marriage is not cool.
That's the point. They were virgins. She doesn't have a base. No, 1 second.
Okay.
Let me just say this and then you got it.
So that goes to my point then, right? If she has never had sex before, then how could you say, well, I need to have sex with you before
but that's what I said. I said this. If I get a virgin or a woman that had the husband and there's her only body, I can expect her to fuck me casually when she never did. I will say you are a virgin. You had the husband. This is your only partner. I know that you only have sexual relationships in the constraints of a marriage. So
And
I'm
that
going
don't
to
mean that
assume.
she gonna be boring either. Just
No. But
you see,
I'm
that
all
doesn't
that.
make sense what you're saying.
It's because you are not addressing what I said.
I did. I'm telling
Okay,
you, there
so
is
I'm all that.
nowhere that you
Comparison.
can point to that sex before marriage made your marriage be successful.
No, it's because comparison is the thief of joy, right? I'm not talking about women that had 0 partners. I'm talking about women that were outside. The average age of marriage is 30 years old. So this woman had other experience before me. My question will be, right? If this woman had 10 or 15 partners before me, and I'm being conservative about the number, but let's go with 10 to 15, and I never actually experienced her, and she never experienced me, and now we get together and we marry each other, and our sexual experience compared to the guys that she had before is terrible. Our marriage is in serious danger because we don't have physical chemistry to go with another. No, okay, I agree. So Damien, now you and Numble Dead are going to answer this. Where is this virgin woman at 30?
Nobody's saying virgin. Nobody's saying virgin.
No, that's fine. Let's go with one. Let's go with one or two. Let's go with one or two bodies.
Fatty, are you married?
No.
Okay, do you want to be married?
No.
Okay, so then what's your premise?
My premise is we're talking about.
If you don't want to be married, then why do you have an issue with a woman not wanting to have sex before marriage if you're not planning to marry her anyway?
Because I am not.
I can answer that question.
I am not a idealistic person that talks about what is right. I'm a pragmatic person that actually talks about what needs to be done. I can say this is not right or wrong, but some things need to be done. And if you are getting with the woman that been outside in the market and fuck a bunch of men, and all of a sudden she's using that sex to get you to commit to her, you are being manipulated because that woman never required that from a man before.
Where's the pragmatism if you're spending your time wasting your energy trying to convince a woman who don't want to have sex with you to have sex with you because you're trying to show your value to kind of convince her to?
Stop
That's
flipping it. Flipping it.
No, we need to flip it because we're spending too much time on the things that go against.
No, you are
trying to find a healthy relationship.
No, you are okay. So you are flipping it. Where is this average age of marriage is 30? Where is this woman at 30 that has either 0 bodies or 2 bodies? Where are they?
They don't exist. We'll go with that. So now, what's your point?
So you need to get off the fact that you trying to find a 30-year-old with 0 bodies. That's not realistic. So you need to change what you're looking for.
There's actually Damien, where are these women?
They don't exist. Why does it matter?
Exactly. You don't sit there and try to spin your wheels to try and find these rare women that don't exist. What you need to do, if you're going to date a 30-year-old woman with the mind of marriage, you need to fix your mind and say, this woman has had a past. And if her past isn't reflected in her present, I can probably rock with her.
So y'all are saying to men in mass to concede that they will never get either a virgin or very close to the woman that is not going through and to marry her anyway.
Just like she has to concede that you're not as good of a leader as you think that you are.
Or you may not be $100,000 or 6'2".
Now, respectfully, women are not conceding shit. Women are not.
Yes, they have to.
No, they're women in mass are like these are the most ruthless women on the dating market that you ever saw. A woman will go on Tinder and reject 150 guys just to like one. These women are extremely picky. These women
what does that have to do with what you do?
Yeah, they will hold on to these preferences until they become.
I'm a reflection of the market. Yes, I am. If there was you know I am.
You're not because you're not trying to be married. Like you're not a reflection of the market. So
like, let me ask you,
most dudes, they want to be married.
Okay, so let me ask
you. They would have that particular statement.
No. That's actually a purity test. Are you are married, right?
Yes.
Have you ever been divorced?
No.
Have you ever had like a baby mama or somebody? No.
No. I've lost a wife before and had to get back into the market.
Okay, but I'll assume that she passed away.
Yes.
Is that fair? Okay.
Yes.
So do you think you are the average man?
In what sense?
No.
In the sense that your relationships, like you had one wife your relationships are dissolved by passing away, are not dissolved by a woman wants a divorce, a woman says I'm not happy, a woman
Okay.
says that. Like, what is the regular? Is your situation or the situation of a woman leaving fatty because she's not happy and I'm not ambitious and all that? What is the regular?
I think the regular is that women leave, right? Women leave. So I understand that as a fear, right? But it's also or risk, right? But there's risk in everything that you do.
Like, we know, but why are you talking like your situation is normal and it's not more my situation?
Because I was marriage minded. You're not. Most guys are marriage minded.
And most guys that are marriage minded get divorced too, or she get in shitty relationship.
What I'm saying is that if no, that's not true. That's not most. That's not true.
That's not true. Okay, no. I actually like the numbers, right? 40% get divorced, and it's fair to assume that 2 of them are on situations that are very unsatisfied. They just stay for the kids, or because, like, is there fair to say that 2 men on the 10 of them actually they're not because they're happy, but because it's their duty, like we push them to do?
Well, I like that. Okay, so do you know that I'm gonna go religious for you for a moment? It's fair to say, yeah.
So it's the majority.
But did you know this though? That 99% of marriages where the man and the woman are going to church regularly and they pray together regularly do not divorce.
Can you give me that set?
Go look.
Where do you? Where do you? No, you want me to do GPT? No, it's fine. I will say this. Is there any religion in specific that you want me to ask? Christian?
You go Christian or whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Right? Okay. Because in other religions, they don't have a high divorce rate because both the woman and the man are committed to the duty of the marriage. It is a Western, it's a Western thing that women and men do not understand the value of marriage. It's not just a woman thing, it's also a man thing. Okay. Like, men don't really like women don't understand what it is to be a wife, and men don't understand what it is to be a husband. Why? Because both of them haven't really seen it. And not only that, if I go to it as it relates to the Bible, if they would do it from the biblical perspective, both people will see that they are doing a really good job, that they can make it work, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so the question was, let me see if I get this right, because I don't want to mischaracterize you. The question was, what is the divorce rate of religious people in the US? Overall divorce rate.
That's not gonna be a fair
40 to 50%, and then religious 25, 28, 19.
This is why it's really what's the word I'm looking for? When you're actually trying to do a study, right? You can't just Google something because it's going to give you different things, right? So my statement was that, first of all, did you know, I think it's about 68% of the United States says that they're Christian, right? Or 2 out of 3 people say that they're Christian, but they don't live a Christian lifestyle. So when you look at that particular study, that's what I looked this up.
So what makes me not be marriage-minded? I will go with you. I agree. Just because I claim I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm a Christian. Right. So if I don't say I want, if I say I don't want to get married, why do you believe me? Why didn't you question that? I might be lying, just like these Christians are lying about being Christian. I can be lying about not wanting to get married. Why do you do these? Oh, these people, they are not really two Christians, even though they claim it. But Fatty's saying that he doesn't want to get married. You are not marriage minded. I might be lying to you.
We transitioning. Okay, so if people actually lived out the gospel, you would see TV be different. You would see music be different. Like, you would see a different type of world. I lived in India, and those people, when they say they worship the cow is not being eaten. You know what I'm saying? Like, they literally take their religion seriously, and you can see it, is what I'm saying. But when you come to America, Christianity, when you're talking about the study of what you just saw, that's not going to be accurate. That's why I said that if you look at the studies where the man and the woman are going to church together and they are praying together, they have a high likelihood of not getting a divorce, is what I'm saying. So when you talk, go ahead.
Fatty, let me just say this. Let me jump in there because we align. Fatty, we both atheists, so let's take it off the marriage thing. So you said that if you say how do you know I'm not marriage minded? Because I said I don't want to get married, because that shows intentionality. When the things you say become manifest. It's one of those things. So because there's no reason to say, there's no negative thing to saying I'm marriage minded or I want to get married. If you're saying you're marriage minded, you put it out to world and you put that energy out that I'm not the guy that's going to marry you. So you're not even going to even attract women who are thinking about marriage, because
that's not what I said.
Well, you just said, how do you know?
No. Yeah. Hey, I'll always dance with y'all. And Boogie, you got the middle next. I'm okay with dancing with y'all, right? Think about this. How many women came to Kevin Samuels saying that they are marriage minded, and when you hear them talk, they are definitely not that marriage minded. There's nothing on them. Just because they're claiming they want to get married doesn't mean they're actually marriage minded. They just want the bag.
Exactly.
They just want this, right? So
I agree.
What is it but that's the point. So the humble that question was an irrelevant question, because the same way I don't want to get married, right? And I can talk about marriage things and things that actually would lead you to a marriage. Me wanted married or me not wanted married is not going to change nothing, because we have women in mass saying they are marriage minded and they want husbands, and in reality they actually don't. So them being marriage minded or not being marriage minded is irrelevant, because it doesn't change the fact that the way that they move that they don't want to get married.
Want husbands, but then things like Kevin Samuels can expose you're not in the mind frame of a wife. You're not in the mind. You're not
they
even
want to be wives.
No. Some women would genuinely want to be marriage minded. Some women just want that, like someone would just like the idea of being married for whatever reason. But the women who think they're marriage minded can get exposed and be like, oh no, if you're thinking, oh, I don't want nobody to lead me, or he's got to do all this and that and stuff like that, you're not marriage minded. So what can happen is you expose and be like, say, you need to reevaluate what your understanding of marriage is, and get to the point where you actually are marriage minded if you really want marriage. I think people don't have a real understanding of what marriage is. People just think it's two people, what they say, watching reality TV and dying together and having a bunch of kids. That's what people think. People don't understand the commitment and the immersion that comes when you marry somebody.
And that doesn't change nothing, because if you are a hammer, all you're going to see is motherfucking nails.
Then you need to change yourself. You need to. Kevin Samuels was good at pointing out that you are not where you need to be to get the outcome you desire, and this is the work you need to do.
No, it's not on me.
No, I'm not assuming.
No, one day, man. Talking about me per se, I'm on the 1 to 10 percentile of high earners. I'm 6'2". I own shit that other people don't. Looking at the regular people, I am, for the most part, respectful when it comes to family, business, and all that. I have 2 parents married for a bunch of years. I have a good example. I know what it is to be married for a bunch of time. Put your kids first, put your wife first. I know that. I see it, and I can replicate it, right? What I'm saying is that y'all need to stop talking about the motherfucking kicker. The ball is deflated. There's no air on that motherfucking ball, right? So we are trying to create better football players that were better than Barry Sanders or whatever the name, Tom Brady. We need to get better, when the ball keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So you are telling me to kick farther the ball away when the ball is deflated. It was used by the motherfucking varsity team. It was used by Colorado. It was used by everybody. And now all of a sudden I have a pre-owned ball by 70 dudes. And when I say, can I kick it? No, fatty, you have to polish the ball and treat the ball with respect and kiss the ball before you go to bed.
That is not what's being said.
Nobody said
I'm
nothing
not
like
going.
that.
I'm not going. I'm
Nobody said
standing
that.
on
You're
feet.
not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
If Jesus can't save these hoes, why are you trying? What make you think you greater than Jesus?
I'm not Jesus.
You're not even listening to what we said, Patty. We literally said don't rock with the woman that you don't want to rock with.
Exactly.
Where are these women that are 30 years old with 2 bodies?
Let me ask you. Okay.
Can you point
so you're asking where are they? Do you believe they don't exist at all?
I believe that at 30 years old, which is the average age of marriage, and it's not my fault, it's just what it is. These women are virtually in existence. They are already married, or
so you're
they
saying that
literally.
men should not get married.
I believe that if you're going to get married, you should treat women and respect them like they respect themselves. If these women are respectable women and respected their body, you should come in with flowers and be motherfucking courting her and do all that. But if these women treated their bodies like, hey, fatty, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, can I pull up? You have no motherfucking business.
Even if it was 10 years ago. Even if it was 10 years ago and they were a totally different person.
Yes, because the other dude was sucking dick 10 years ago when you told him to not date your daughter. So you are being hypocritical at that point.
Dame, I got a question for Dame. So Dame, you believe that if Boogie finds a nice young lady who used to, do her thing back in the day, but now she believes in God, no sex before marriage.
I want a God-fearing man.
Yeah. So do you believe I should give her a chance?
If she meets the standard of what you need, if she meets your standard,
she's a good girl now. She's not.
And you are comfortable seeing no evidence that she's anywhere connected to that previous life.
Yeah.
I don't see why you shouldn't.
Do you believe there's a chance after the marriage she could backslide back into what she used to do back in the day?
I don't know. It's possible.
You could too.
Wait.
You could too. That's like saying you've always been an honest dude. Like
forgive her. She's born again. She loves God now.
Let me and Boogie finish her thing. Let me and Boogie finish her thing. All right, let me and Boogie finish.
Anymore.
Then is like, yes, it's possible. I can't believe it because there's no way I can judge that. There's no way I can say I believe that she's going to fall back. I don't know this person. Everybody's different.
I said, do you believe there's a chance? I didn't say she's going to. I said there's always a chance.
There's a chance.
Okay.
So but that chance
this is my second question. This is my second question. So I have woman A, right, who has never had that kind of past. She has been a good, nice girl. She wasn't sleeping around. She didn't have to become a born-again virgin. And I have woman 2, who's now a born-again virgin. She's now a good girl. She goes to church every single day. She even does, Sunday school for the little kids. None of them have kids. Who do you think I should pick?
The one who you rock with, who's doing.
No, everything is the same.
You can't.
Right now,
Dame.
Hypothetical
because it's
so unrealistic. Dame, I'm just testing the logic. Dame, you said
it's not logical.
Wait, hold on, because these situations happen. The women who sleep around, the women who don't sleep around. You said choose based on the present behavior of a woman. The present behavior of these 2 women.
And the previous work she did, yes.
Hold on. They both go to church right now. None of them could hurt a fly. They respect men, very submissive, very feminine. They give back to the homeless, right? But the difference is one used to bust it open for the real ones back in the day. One never had to do that. Which one should I choose? Everything is the same. Both beautiful, no kids.
That's a nonsensical.
No, it's not, because it's out here in the world. It's not. I'm testing your logic.
It all depends on your value set. What your values tell you to do, you do.
No, I'm going with your value set of the present behavior. Present behavior is where they both go to.
And if you ask me what I would do, or you ask me what you should do, I don't know what you should do.
No, answer for what I should do, what you should do, and what your son should do. Okay, what if I was your son? How would you advise me to go?
Okay, I can get in that. My son came to me and said, "Hey, Daddy, I'm going back between 2 women. Both of them are good, wholesome women, and they meet all my emotional needs or whatever. But one of them had a past or what have you. I would say, which one do you rock with more? Which one who gives you more of what you need? Go with that.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What you need?
Like saying everybody needs something in order to commit to somebody. So
usually for men, what is that?
2 women cannot give the same exact thing to 2 men. It's just not,
that's okay.
So somebody's going to give you more of what you need in order to lock them down. There's always a choice.
Are you speaking about feelings? Because remember, it's a marriage. We cannot just go based on feelings. That's to be behavior.
Whatever feelings.
They treat me the same. They treat me the same.
but they can't inspire you. They can't be what you did. It's impossible.
No, it's possible.
It is not possible for two women to give you the exact same thing.
It is possible.
It's impossible because they're two different people.
No, I'll tell you why it's possible. You know why?
Not, brother. It's just not. This is a not a.
No. I'll tell you why it's possible,
premise,
because the scenario I painted for you, they both go to church, they're both submissive, they're both feminine, they both respect men. Are you saying that?
Aren't the same? Their life's experience and their motivations are different, so they're going to have different
right now
reactions to something.
Hold on, all those things I mentioned, Dave. Are you saying there are no women who have those same things I just mentioned in the world?
Those are baseline things, but there's more to that if you're going to commit to somebody.
What is that? What are the, because what you're talking about seems like you're more about feelings and no, I'm talking about pragmatic things that men have to think about before they make
this is what I'll tell you. I don't believe in that whole what women bring to the table stuff. I believe I set my table. I set the parameters of somebody who's going to sit down and eat at my table. And I will look at the two women and say, who are closely aligned to what I have determined I need. So if this woman is, if my value set is I want a woman that has less bodies, then I will go with that one. If my value set is I don't really care about that one, I want a woman who has a great laugh and who smells good and who has a fat ass because they're, and that's what I want. I'm gonna go with that one. So you go whichever who gives you whatever your preferences and values are the more of. No woman, the way you're painting the picture, they're twins who have the exact same body, the exact same height, they smell the exact same. It's not.
No,
possible.
the reason I did that is because you were telling Fadi that men should just look past whatever a woman used to do.
I didn't say that.
Because wait. You said the reason they should do that is because if the present behavior is good, they should forget the past. And Fadi was saying, no, this is the reason why men should look at the past. Because we know usually the past can dictate the future. You know what I mean? So my point is whatever was in the situation can always come back. That's why I gave you those two scenarios, because men out here have to pick and choose. All right.
You could be a woman who never had sex with somebody, marries her husband and be like, God, I wonder what it's like to get a new dick.
I agree.
Be thinking, so
I agree.
All kinds of things could lead to
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Bad behavior.
Men have to actually think about it. It shouldn't be okay if in the present she's almost like, Mary's sister. I should just no. We're saying look at everything. The same way you would check out.
Like I said, if that is a value that you have, then go with the one who is aligned with your values. All I'm saying is, if men out there, if you don't have that value, don't let other people talking you into having that value. If you don't have the value where a promiscuous past that doesn't reflect the future is a big thing, don't let somebody tell you, oh, she needs to have two bodies or whatever like that. Go with the person who's aligned with your values. That's how people have long, happy relationships. They get off of this preference shit and they go with the value shit. Value preferences change. Values is what builds the foundation of who you're going to be in a relationship.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? For me, I actually believe in marriage. Because it's the foundation of the family.
Great.
Hold on, wait. But it's the foundation of a community, the two-parent household, right? The family unit. And marriage is one of the ways people have been doing it for, decades and decades, right? But the issue I have with married men, like you, no offense, just telling men or just have a marriage mindset is you never talk about the ramifications, the consequences if you choose the wrong woman. You never talk about the consequences of divorce court. You never talk about the consequences of men going homeless. You never talk about the consequences of men losing their kids. You never talk about you paint this picture of just have a mindset, forget a past, and everything will be good. No, for me, I believe if any man wants to get married, go sit in divorce court. Talk to people who have been divorced before you talk about people who are in so-called happy marriages. Like Fadi said,
I've been divorced before.
We talk about people who are married, but we never talk about people who are unhappily married, who was in marriages. Because I believe
I was
divorce
in an
rate
unhappy
should be-
marriage.
What's up?
I was in a unhappy marriage. My wife that I'm now that I've been together for almost 20 years is my second wife. My first wife
you're
I was divorced before.
Okay, so speak about that part. Don't only talk about just the positives about marriage.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
Because I'm speaking about that person, not about the institution.
I don't think it's just that. I think that y'all are misleading people about the market that we have, because you are pretending that we have a choice, right? And you are actually punishing me for seeing what the market is and saying, no, I don't want to participate in it. Think about it, right, Damien? Me as a 35 years old, almost 36, 19 July, you can send me presents. I should look at a 29-year-old and say, oh, this is a respectable woman. This woman conserved her body, respected herself, has no kids, no trauma, no nothing. So I would definitely prefer her over the woman that didn't, over the stripper, over the hooker. I will actually prefer her, right? What is happening is that this woman is so close with those bad women that first you don't know who they really are because they talk the same shit, they defend each other and all that shit. And the second one, you know they've been out there because you were the club promoter, you were the bouncer, you were in college, you were getting motherfucking what you doing big at 3 a.m. in the morning. So you know most of these women are not that. So it's a false dichotomy between, oh, you should pick better. There's no picking better, right? Because there's not enough. It's like me saying, hey, sir, you shouldn't drink from the poison well. You should drink from that well that people shit on. I'm probably not going to die from drinking from that shit. It's still a well full of shit. And the second thing too, Damien, is this. I mean what I say, and I fucking say what I mean. I am out. I am out. I'm dating the market like the market dates me. I'm not gaslighting myself. I'm not saying, yeah, 17 bodies is it's okay. I don't know. I have standards. You don't meet my standards, get the fuck out of my face. And instead of saying,
that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people in general. And instead of saying, fatty is the result of what this woman and the feminists and all these people are doing to the market, right? We're pretending that something is wrong with me. It's not. I'm being a pragmatic man. I'm being a responsible man. I'm looking at what is in front of me. I'm not going to walk into a motherfucking burning building just because you are shaming me or saying, see, you are not marriage-minded. I am actually marriage-minded. I will tell everybody, if you want to actually build a family, you should get married. You should take care of that woman and a kid because that's the best environment for that kid to grow. But I will not tell my fellow man, you know what? They're burning this little building, but it's just a little bit hot. You see what I'm saying? Just a little bit hot. Just go ahead. Just try to climb to the top.
You're not doing that. You're not going to sit there and I say, like, I'm telling people to accept things that they shouldn't accept. All I'm saying is whatever you accept, like whatever your line is, if your line is 0 kids, 30, 2 bodies, rock with that. But just realize that in order to find that, it's going to take you a little bit longer. You're going to have to be a little bit more intentional in that search. But if you find
that's better than divorce.
Hold on a second. But if you find somebody that is 30 years old, you know, maybe had 12 bodies or whatever like that, you're going to have to determine whether or not she's worth looking past that if you're satisfied with that. All I'm saying, that's on you. But Sam, if you want to hold a hard line, hold your line, whatever your line is. But don't try to drag the other woman who doesn't fit that into your world and make her feel bad.
You are totally right, Damien. And I have one last question for you on our final thoughts.
Well, show's over. Hope y'all enjoyed it. But nah, don't dip yet. We still got them final thoughts coming in.
Y'all really tore it up tonight, huh? But don't dip just yet. Let's hear them final words. Hey, that's it. Show's done. Now shut the fuck up and let the panelists speak. It's time for final thoughts.
The question of the night goes for Damien. Damien, looking at this toxic, messy, and I read the super chat, friend, I didn't forgot, shitty market, would you recommend the average man to get married?
Good fucking
Yes.
question.
Yes, I would recommend the average man to get married, but I would recommend he be a whole lot more discerning than he would usually are being right now, and that he really stand on his values and not just try to go off preferences.
Oh, Fadi, I have one more question for you.
Go ahead. This is the final thoughts. I'll read the super chats, and then I'm out. Shout out to Theo, Sunkist, Kazim, and only facts and stats. I'll read your super chats in a few seconds. So Damien said, I will definitely send my fellow man to a burning building. He's standing on that.
You're not getting it. It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, is it?
He's standing on business. Go ahead, boy.
All right, Dame, last question.
Sure.
Would you advise men to overlook a woman's past if she's a good girl in the present?
I wouldn't advise any man to compromise their value. If your value
You didn't answer
is
my question.
what's called no, that is your what's called
You
it.
mean that? No.
I wouldn't. I'm answering your question. Listen to what I'm saying. You're asking me would I advise a man to go against his values or what he believes his principles.
I didn't say that's his value. It could be something he's thinking about. Doesn't mean it's his value.
It doesn't have. Damien, what he's saying is that let's talk about men that don't have hard stances, right? They are not. I'm never dating a single mother. They're like, if she's good enough, maybe. Let's talk about the average man that doesn't have a very strict standing and standard, and it kind of be more flexible, dude, right? Answer the question.
Okay, give it. I'd say be open, but if you find you can't hack it, bounce. You know, if you find that it's not for you, bounce.
You're a good politician.
You might
You're a good
surprise
politician.
yourself. You might surprise yourself. Like all this stuff, because like we had the stepdad thing. I was raised by a stepdad. He met a woman with 3 kids, and he was been a great dad. He was an amazing cat, and he was happy as shit because he got a woman better than he probably could have got without having kids.
So men should consider being stepdad.
I mean, if you can hang it, if you can rock with it, if you can do it, do it. But I'm not. I was a stepdad my first time, and it's not for me. But if you can do it, more power. I'm not advocating that because I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Reese, do you have anything to say before we bounce?
Not much, man. I just say RIP to Kevin Samuels. I think he had good intentions. I think the listeners turned it into something bad, man. And all the copycats. That's it.
Thank you very much, Reese. I appreciate you. Mr. Damien, salute to you, sir. Great show.
Pleasure.
And Mr. Boogie, new friend of the show. Go ahead and follow me. There's reviews and all that. All the links